10 semi-finals in Melbourne, 10 wins, and who's to say it won't be a 10th title on Sunday night?
Hi, it's John Pearce here. You're listening to AO Radio.
Good evening and welcome to the Twilight Show. It's day 13 at the Australian Open. My name's Kate Kearns. I'm your host tonight. And this evening I'm joined once again by Eleanor Crooks from Press Association UK. Welcome, Eleanor. Nice to have you back. And Andre Buchko, who's a sports journalist. Andre, welcome. It's your first time on the Twilight Show.
Good evening and well pronounced.
Did I do okay? Because I'm not known for my pronunciations, I have to say. Well, it's women's final night here at the Australian Open. Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina takes on world's number 5 Aryna Sabalenka. But before we get to analyse and preview that match, let's hear the highlights from last night's men's semi-final.
Forehand to forehand they go now. Forehand up the line for Djokovic. Good cross-court backhand from Paul. Drop shot from Djokovic. He telegraphed it. Paul got there. Oh, lovely touch. Lovely touch by Tommy Paul. He's in this match now. It's 15-all. Forehand just gets over the net from Djokovic. Match by Paul. Forehand to forehand in the juice court. Djokovic waiting for his moment. Paul pulls the trigger up the line. Djokovic goes with a cross backhand and he's missed. He's gone long. Another break back. Tommy Paul with a fist pump. We are back on serve in this opening set. Forehand to forehand, both players. Another long rally here as they continue in the juice court. Now up the line goes Djokovic. Drop shot here from Djokovic. Paul coming up. Oh, yeah, it was nowhere near good enough from Novak Djokovic. And Tommy Paul said, thank you very much. I'll put that away.
Djokovic returns with a cross-court backhand, then up the line. Paul does brilliantly to stay in this, leaping at the net. The first overhead is retrieved by Paul. It's going to land in. Djokovic slams it right back at us. Paul's there with a forehand racket, opposite corner. Brilliant accuracy. Paul, brilliant defending. And the drop shot from Djokovic into the net. What a point.
Well, one of the best points of the match, and the Joker got a real casual there.
Up defensively from Paul, high up, good smash from Djokovic. Paul manages to get this nearly back in, but it's out. And Djokovic just needing the one on this occasion. And if Tommy Paul had a normal mountain to climb at the start of this match an hour and a half ago, it is now Mount Everest for him. Skidding to play this, Djokovic just staying in on the run, makes this forehand right back at Paul. Paul goes back behind him, slice, Paul comes to the net, puts away the volley on the backhand.
That's brilliant work from Tommy Paul. Again, that's what he needs to do. He needs to find his way forward.
He serves, and from Tommy Paul, this flies long. And it's another enormous statement from Novak Djokovic. 10 semi-finals in Melbourne, 10 wins. And who's to say it won't be a 10th title on Sunday night?
Well, it's a ridiculous record that Novak has. It was a straight sets win, 7-5, 6-1, 6-2, but it was a thoroughly entertaining match.
Yeah, there were some really good points, weren't there? And that first set really got close. It looked like Novak was going to run away with it at 5-1. And then suddenly Paul won 4 games in a row. I think at one point Novak lost 11 out of 13 points, which is very unusual. But then unfortunately, Tommy Paul just couldn't quite force a tiebreak. And from then, it was pretty one-sided. But no, some entertaining points. I think Tommy Paul just didn't really have anything to hurt Novak with.
As Novak said at the press conference, he had a little bit of crisis that first set, that as long as he won the first set and then a couple of tough points at the beginning of the second set and he did the early break, then he was absolutely in control of the match.
What was the crisis exactly?
Well, it looks like after not converting the set point, he got a little bit to his head, probably all the circumstances throughout the day and the big crowd. I do believe that the crowd was on Paul's side when we heard. So all in this, very unusual for him because before match with Rublev and Deminaur, he controlled completely from the beginning to the end, and he had a little bit of crisis yesterday.
He did. He looked stressed.
Yeah, he did a bit, and he had an argument with the umpire as well about when he was starting the shot clock, and that then kind of started that run of points against him. Yeah, so I think maybe that kind of made him lose his concentration. But yeah, as Andrew said, I think it was probably what was happening in the day with his father and everything around that. I think probably did get to him. He admitted afterwards it did get to him. So, but the way that he came back in the second and third sets, I don't think Stefanos Tsitsipas will be taking too much comfort from anything that happened yesterday.
And for Tommy Paul, I read where he was saying he had a plan. He wanted to, serve and volley, wanted to keep the balls deep, wanted, put in some slices and that. And he said he just couldn't do it. That Novak just won't allow you to play those sort of shots. He gets the ball back so deep, it's always on the baseline, and he takes away that sort of, the game plan from you before you even start.
That is correct. He couldn't do anything from his game plan, and the key was the return. As we know, Novak Djokovic is the best return player in the world, and then immediately Tommy was under pressure, so nothing from his game plan could work.
Yeah, it reminded me of when people are about to play Rafa Nadal for the first time and they kind of say, I know what I need to do. And then they come out afterwards and say, yep, I knew what I needed to do. I couldn't do any of it. So Novak, he just, as you said, that it's just the depth on his ball and how quickly he hits the ball. He just gives you no time and suddenly the ball's back at your feet. So yes, Tommy Paul, he had all the right intentions, but unfortunately it didn't quite play out the way he intended.
The game plan looks great on paper, doesn't it? Yeah, but once you're out there, which, you've got to go through Chicago with Djokovic, and Chicago for him is RLA, and it is so tough. So, of course, the match-up tomorrow night, the men's final against Tsitsipas, it's going to be exciting, dynamic. They've both got such interesting styles. Tsitsipas has been coming into the net a little. He's spoken about that. I think he'll need to against Novak just to change things up, if he can.
Yes, if he can, because they played 12 times, and as we know, the score head-to-head is 10-2 for Djokovic. He told us yesterday that he knows how to play. They met many times. The only Grand Slam final was in Paris, and that was a clay, and this is his court. 10 finals, could be 10 wins, 10 semi-finals, 10 wins. Obviously, the big advantage of Tsitsipas is the home crowd. There will be a lot of Greeks and a lot of people cheering for him. He feels good. He has nothing to lose. He's a very first Australian Open final, so he's got a shot.
His home slam?
Exactly. But Djokovic is a master here.
Yeah, in a way, it's both their home slam, I think, isn't it? It could be a great atmosphere tomorrow night, I think, with obviously lots of Greeks and Serbs coming, I would assume.
Should be fun. Of course, there were junior finals played this afternoon on Rod Laver Arena. It's great to see the youngsters actually take to, the main courts. Not on the outside courts. They get to play inside Rod Laver Arena. And it was Elena Kornieva from Russia defeating Mira Andreeva, who was the 7th seed, and the 9th seed won, and it was 6-7, 6-4, 7-5. Tough conditions for the girls today.
Yeah, it was really hot out there, and I mean they battled for, I think it was more than 3 hours, wasn't it? Two 15-year-olds. A lot of long rallies out there, and Andreeva just ended up coming out on top. But no, it was a good match.
Yeah, heroic performance, I would say. They are still children. 15-year-olds have to go to school. And playing in 35 heat, 3 hours, 20 minutes. Andreeva came back from 2-5 down to 5-all, and it was very emotional. Kornieva said that the second set she wanted to retire because of some injury. So it was a big fight. They are very talented girls, and it shows that the Russian power never ends, and they will produce more and more players for the future.
Well, how deep is the juniors in terms of Russian players at the moment? I mean, obviously, the two making it to the final today, but have they got a strong field coming through, Andre?
They always produce the players. Obviously, the situation in Russia is a little bit different. It's not the federation, it's not the system, it's the rich parents. Many of these children are practicing and preparing overseas. They go to Spain, Italy, France, Florida, and some of them even migrate, like we know Sofia Kenin or Amanda Anisimova. They come from Russian background in the United States. They have now U.S. citizenship and many others. But they have a lot of talent, and I have to be very glad, and I have to say that the Slovak girl, also 15-year-old, Renata Jamrichova, together with Italian partner, Federica Urgesi, they won yesterday the junior doubles title.
Okay.
And they eliminated in the semi-final and the final the Japanese opponents. And Andreeva playing with Kornieva, they couldn't go through in doubles because of too much engagement. So title for Slovak Republic here.
Yeah, looking good. And of course, that's your background, which we should have mentioned earlier. And in terms of the boys' final, it was Alexander Blocks.
Yep.
From Belgium, who defeated Learn Etienne from the United States of America, and that was a tight 3-set match, 6-1, 2-6, 7-6, and it was 11-9 in the tiebreak. I have to say their conditions for playing were a little bit cooler.
Yeah, it changed a lot, didn't it? One of those Melbourne days when, you go inside and come out half an hour later and suddenly it's 10 degrees cooler. So yes, the boys got the better of that. And I think it was, I can't pretend to know too much about these two players, but I think it was a bit of an upset. I think the American was the favourite, but obviously very tight. The American, he'd won the doubles as well. So, it'd be a great result for the Belgian.
Exactly. The final tiebreak is always a lottery, or, here and there, up and down. And the Belgian guy got lucky. American won the doubles title the day before. And talking about weather, yes, you need to have a pullover or a jacket for the final match, Rybakina Sabalenka tonight. Even the forecast was 35.
Yeah, what is it at the moment? It's the temperature has dropped dramatically, hasn't it?
It's Melbourne.
I know. Why am I surprised? I live here, for heaven's sake, and should be used to these cool changes that come through in the afternoon, and within a matter of minutes it can go from, 35 degrees to 22.3, which I've just been told, yes. So it is a bit cool. In fact, I would think that they're perfect conditions for tennis tonight, just as long as there's not too much of a breeze out there.
For the players, yes, definitely. Much better than 35.
Yeah, although I think Rybakina, I don't think she was too keen, was she, on it being a bit cooler the other night. I think she wants the heat to help her serve.
Yeah,
so.
likes the pace that the heat brings.
Yeah.
We spoke earlier in the tournament on the importance of junior development programs in developing not only talent but participation in the sport of tennis. Like the Hot Shots program that they have here at the Australian Open, which is a fabulous program. But what do these programs look like in countries where they don't have a Grand Slam event? And you were talking, Andre, just a little earlier around that money is so important in some of these countries and about where the kids go. So not so much about programs, but does it come down to the almighty dollar?
It's absolutely right. Yeah, dollars and the traditions, I would say. As you know, before Czech and Slovak Republic, they were together in Czechoslovakia. There is a famous Czechoslovakian school. You can name Navratilova, Lendl, Mandlikova, Sukova. You can go on with Korda, by the way. But so the school is very popular, and because our kids, they have a very big talent whenever they hold a stick, I have to say. So ice hockey and tennis, these are one of the most popular sports along with soccer, football. And if you can remember the player called Jaroslav Drobny, who was playing for Czechoslovakia, ice hockey and tennis, he achieved something it will be never ever repeated. He was a world champion in ice hockey with Czechoslovakia, and he was a Wimbledon winner. I don't think we get that in the future.
I can't think of anyone else that's achieved such diversity in their sporting career.
No, that's incredible. Yeah, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, so ice hockey world champion and the Wimbledon champion. And the other question is that he played later for Egypt for reasons that he had to migrate because of communism. But, these schools and traditions, they are very important, and the money. So it's not much the system. It's how you find these players, how you approach, how you give them conditions and help, how you support them, because many times the parents who are not very rich, they just can't support and they can't travel and can't pay that.
So what does that actually look like then in some of these Eastern Bloc countries?
Well, it depends on hunger, on how the children are hungry to give up and sacrifice everything and just go for drill and throw everything to tennis. It's very hard in men's tennis. It's a little bit easier competition in the women's tennis. That's why you see so many coming from there, because men's tennis worldwide is now in so many countries. But it's about how they are raised in the club, what kind of coaches they get, what are the traditions in these countries, and how much the parents help you. So you had the same with Cibulkova, Hantuchova from our country, if I have to name it. They had very good parents and supporting them. And then the national tennis centers in each country, if they support the children and give them the help, then they have produce. If not, look at Romania. If, for example, they had some great players in the past, like Nastase, Tiriac, Ružiči, but then it's lack of money, and then the parents go out. You have Andreescu, who is the Grand Slam winner from Romania, but representing Canada. And then you have Raducanu, who is British, again from Romania, because it's not a very rich country, representing Britain, but it's like a Romanian school. So that's why she's unique.
Yeah, I mean, I just think everybody looks in amazement at the Czechs, don't they? And just this amazing production line. I mean, particularly of female talent, but now maybe men as well, you know. So it's incredible, isn't it? And I think every richer country would look at them and kind of wonder how they do it, because certainly in Britain, you know, we spend millions and millions of pounds every year trying to produce players, and we certainly haven't got the strength in depth that the Czechs has, and that does seem to be more of a system. You know, they all come through the Czech system, don't they, rather than going out to other countries.
I give you a great example. You may remember the name Richard Krajicek.
Certainly do.
Of course.
And again, son of Czechoslovakian sports people. Parents were handball players from Prague and Pilsner, but he was born in Rotterdam, representing Holland. And when he won Wimbledon 1996 against the Maliway Washington in the final, I approached him. He did an interview, and he said, you know, Andre, is this. In Holland, when you get players to top 20, good life, good money, and travel, they're happy, but they don't sacrifice a lot, and they don't do more grill. They don't work hard to get there, and I really, really wanted to win the Wimbledon title. So he beat Sampras there, who was unbeatable in Wimbledon, and he took it to the title, and he explained that, what is it? It's the tradition, love of sport, and a great talent in tennis in Czechoslovakia.
So is there a difference in terms of sort of the juniors and just how determined they are from countries where, you know, in Australia, there's a lot of opportunity to do other things with your life, different sports and different ways to make a living. Can you actually say that? Are the kids in, say, Eastern European countries, are they more determined to find a way to be champions?
Looks like. It looks like, yeah.
And then when I say that, I mean, that's a really general sort of comment to make. It's, you know, obviously you look at individuals and that's not the case, but just generally speaking.
Yes, especially these days with social media, with iPhones, with all this entertainment around, but also with the courts. Because when I spoke to Miloslav Mečír, when he was raised and he played, they could play on the courts till evening, till the dark. These days, the courts are fully booked per hour. You know, 1 hour this child, 1 hour this, parents, they booked, everybody wants to play. So you can't just take a court and play till darkness. But it was easier before. These days, the schedule is tough. The child's interests are different. The parents, some of them, they are not that rich to support. So it's a lot of factors coming into that. But also it depends on technique and the coaches. So as I mentioned, what is amazing about the Czech and Slovak tennis school is that they do have a lot of shots and a lot of strategy different to the normal school. They do a lot of improvisation, chip and charge, come to the net, and do slice, and so they are quite. You could see even with Korda, Sebastian Korda. He's American, but he doesn't play the typical American style. He plays what his father used to play. Radek Stepanek is his coach, so he surprised here quite a lot of players and used his style.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting as well to see if the same dynamics kind of carry on, because we've seen now the number of Americans, women and men, it's just incredible, isn't it? And obviously you would have had that in the past, but then it dropped off, and now they've put a real effort into their player production, and it's showing off, isn't it? I mean, what is it, 10 American men are going to be in the top 50 come Monday, and I imagine the women are probably very similar. I mean, that's incredible numbers. So maybe the traditional powers, are they going to come back, having seen the Eastern Europeans kind of come along and steal their thunder in some ways? So I think that's maybe fascinating over the next sort of 10, 20 years or something to see whether those dynamics stay.
I'm interested in this, the difference in tennis styles from countries, American style of playing, European style of playing. And Novak Djokovic actually mentioned that in one of his press conferences earlier this week. I hadn't actually taken too much notice of that, because you sort of, when I look at tennis, I tend not to look at the countries. I tend just to look at the players and just how they're playing and what that looks like, and not think that that's influenced because of where they've grown up and, where their coach has grown up. But apparently it does.
Yes, absolutely. But you can't specify exactly the style, but you can see the main weapons. If you look at the Asian tennis, the legs and the run. And you remember Michael Chang, he could return every ball. You see Nishikori's way of play, because Chang coached Nishikori. And look at the Asian girls as well. So that's the legs. Then you see the Spanish style. It's they raced on clay, so they have this power tennis similar to Nadal's and Alcaraz. That's what you see. Americans, they have big serve. They coach to have big serve, double-handed. Not many players today use one-handed backhand. And the Czechoslovakian school is full of combination and tricks, and they use a brain, to surprise the opponent. So you can see some differences.
The Australian style used to be obviously a big serve and volley. What is it now?
Yeah, Australia is difficult, isn't it? I think you have a whole range of different players, to be honest. I don't think maybe the same with Britain. It would have been as well, sort of a big serve, come to the net. And yeah, we have players that still do that, but we have a lot of players that don't as well. So I think maybe Australia and Britain don't quite fit into the mold, but I think, the American definitely, I would think, if you see an American on the draw sheet, you're thinking big serve, big forehand, to me anyway. So and obviously like Italians and French, you expect the sort of the flair players, the nice touch, and maybe not the grinding that you see from the Spaniards. So I think definitely there is still a truism to it, although maybe not quite to the same degree as they used to be.
And there is one unique style called Nick Kyrgios style. And obviously...
please explain what that is.
Well, that is very close to serve and volley, to the old Australian style with the huge serve. But, he can hit the winner from any side, anywhere from the court. And if he's concentrated and he's there, he's very dangerous, tough to beat. So Nick is a treasure to Australian tennis with his style. And if he gets some children as an icon following, it could be a great future, because he actually inspires a lot of kids. So it's not bad. And I hope he will get back well and he will be healthy back to produce some great tennis.
Oh, absolutely. I know that he's had his procedures, so we wish him well and a speedy recovery from that. In terms of like the possibilities with cross-pollination of coaches and players, so taking, a coach from the Czech Republic and maybe, I don't know, pairing them up with Nick Kyrgios. I mean, what are the possibilities there for tennis? Like, just because a lot of the coaches they go with their countrymen and women, don't they? Really? So
They do and they don't do, because it depends on the player sometimes. So does Nick Kyrgios want another coach? That's the question.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
when we mention Radek Stepanek, we have to mention Ivan Lendl with Andy Murray. And the biggest success and the best results Andy Murray got was with Ivan Lendl.
Yeah, and I think he would say, and Ivan Lendl would say, and actually all coaches, I think, would say that the key thing is, does the player really trust the coach, and does the player really listen to the coach? Because the coach can be saying all the right things, but if the player isn't buying into it, then it's not going to have the effects that they want. So I think that's absolutely the most important thing.
Absolutely correct.
Well, let's turn our thoughts and attention to this evening's match. Elena Rybakina, world number 25, has dropped one set coming into tonight's final and thundered down 45 aces. Aryna Sabalenka, world number 5, is on a 10-match winning streak and into her first major final. Let's hear their respective paths to the Australian Open final this evening.
Elena Rybakina, the Wimbledon champion, began her Australian Open journey over Elisabetta Kogeletto in straight sets on court 13.
Feeling good, of course. It was not an easy match. First matches, I think they're always tough, so happy to move forward.
Kaya Juven was done in straight sets in just under an hour.
No surprise to see the forehand too hot to handle. Rybakina has been right on it from the word go here.
She defeated Danielle Collins after stumbling in the second set.
She's done it. And no one should be surprised. Danielle Collins has got it back to a set apiece. We're off to a third. That's all she needs. The Wimbledon champion playing like it. She could well be a major contender next week.
Elena knocked off a slightly off-form top seed Iga Swiatek.
Rybakina serving at set point. An ace down the centre. What a very good set by Rybakina. She looked after the first 3 points as if she would be outclassed, but she's come back.
Gaining some confidence, she dispatched Elena Ostapenko.
Serve here from Ostapenko out wide. Big forehand return winner from Rybakina. Great angle cross court.
She was in total control over the former champion Victoria Azarenka.
The forehand of Azarenka, who just picks it up. The backhand cross court is a winner from Rybakina. Azarenka rooted to the middle of the baseline there. Didn't know where that was going. Down the line from Azarenka. Rybakina with the angle. Azarenka gets it back with the slice. Rybakina cross court forehand winner.
The slice from Azarenka. Backhand Rybakina up the middle of the court. Backhand Azarenka into the net. A gentle clench of the fist from Rybakina. No other reaction from her. Rybakina, the Wimbledon champion, is through to the Australian Open final.
Aryna Sabalenka, the Adelaide International champion, knocked off Teresa Martinkova in a brutal 1 hour.
Backhand from Martinsova down the line from Sabalenka. Oh, she's brutal from Sabalenka.
Another dominant performance over Shelby Rogers.
It's like a drop shot. Rogers rolls a forehand. Sabalenka, big forehand up the line again. Aryna Sabalenka, full flight.
Aryna's flawless run continued over Elise Mertens.
It's fed into the Sabalenka forehand and it's given her a vital break.
Belinda Bencic put up a fight, but it was no use.
Oh, Sabalenka with a brilliant backhand up the line, well defended by Bencic. A huge forehand from Aryna Sabalenka, making a statement there.
Donna Vekic was just a pre-finals practice match.
Sabalenka to put this away. Both Vekic is ready, but her lob is going long, and Sabalenka is through.
Still yet to drop a set this year, she ended the dream run of Magda Linette.
Then scurrying to stay in this, the slice from Sabalenka is just too good. It's world-class cross-court. Linette does well just to get a racket on this into the open court. The moment has finally arrived for Aryna Sabalenka. She's in to her first Australian Open final, her first major singles final.
You're unbelievable.
Yes, both quite unbelievable. Andre, we know Elena Rybakina is current Wimbledon champion. She's got a big serve, seems like a very nice person, but we really don't know a great deal about her. What can you tell us?
Well, as the coach said, she's very introvert, so she doesn't talk too much. She had a very tough Wimbledon, as I was told by coach, with all the pressure from media, asking all the same question, and with the difficulties because Russian in Kazakhstan and all this pressure when Russians and Belarusians didn't play in Wimbledon, then the points didn't count. So it was a very weird tournament, as the coach said. But generally, it doesn't matter what happens. She's still introvert. She doesn't talk too much. But she's a very nice girl. And she listens to the coach. What we don't know, there is one secret also about her fitness. I have to say that's what she improved, because she's tall. She's 183. Reminds me Daniela Hantuchova. And Daniela Hantuchova's problem was the footwork and a little bit of movement on the court sometimes. And with the tall girls, you have to adjust that. Stefano said, but from 2019, since he became her coach, she grew up another 4 centimeters.
Oh, wow.
So last 3 or 4 years. So again, they had to adapt the serve and all the movements. So recently they hired a guy called Aziz Simčić, who is the Croatian guy, and he worked with Karolina Pliskova, who is another tall. And this is what you need to do, the footwork, the movement on the court. And Rybakina is covering the court fantastic these days. So that's her one improvement. And that's why also she was moving very well in Wimbledon. You know, grass is something very unique in tennis. So she was moving there well, and she is very free here. She's got the parents, mom, dad, sister, her talisman, what she says. So she feels very, very happy here.
In terms of her representing Kazakhstan, how difficult has that whole part of her career been?
Absolutely not difficult.
Okay.
Absolutely not. There are a lot of players, they took citizenship. You remember Yulia Putintseva, she was Russian. Her father was a director of Spartak Moscow in football, but they didn't support her too much, because when you have so many players, not everyone can represent Russia in Fed Cup, Billie Jean Cup, or they can't represent at the Olympics. So to get to these major events, you probably have to represent a different country. So Kazakhstan came with an offer. Same is Kukushkin in men, is a Russian Kazakhstani. So there are quite a lot of players representing Kazakhstan. She's very happy there in Kazakhstan. She's a hero. They love her. And it's been for 3 years. Well, 2019, before not only the war, before pandemic even.
Yeah.
So to ask her all these questions, it was ridiculous. And she represented also Kazakhstan at the Olympic before Wimbledon. So she was a little bit pressured there, but no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, as Andre said, yeah, it's not unusual at all. Kazakhstan did recruit an awful lot of players. And you have to say, I mean, Rybakina she's Russia's loss, isn't she? I mean, she was somebody that Russia actually didn't invest in. And you look now and she would be their best female player. So Kazakhstan's gain, Russia's loss, you know, and Russia maybe will... Their tennis authorities will be thinking, well, you know, we made a mistake there. So I think full credit to her coaching team for the way that she has improved. I mean, I thought her movement at Wimbledon was tremendous, especially in the final against Ons Jabeur. I thought Ons Jabeur would be able to, you know, a very natural mover on grass. I thought she'd be able to move her around too much. But, Rybakina, she really stayed in those rallies. And I mean, I think what's shone here is the way that the first strike tennis and the serve and the big forehand, big backhand. But when she's needed to stick in a rally, she really has done.
So she's currently 22 in the world, 25.
She's 25 in the world.
25 in the world at the moment.
She's 22nd seeded.
Yes.
But with the 2,000 points in Wimbledon, she would be number 7 here in Melbourne.
Yeah, and I wonder whether or not, you know, people are sort of saying not quite sure who she is. I think that is one of the issues in terms of the ranking, that perhaps they're just not looking past, you know, top 10. A lot of people just sort of focus in on that. But her rise through the rankings started in around 2019. So that was when she moved across. Is that correct?
Correct. She won a lot of tournaments and she went into a lot of finals. This is when she started working with Stefano Vukov. And she is based every year since in Slovak Republic, practicing as a European base in Slovakia, in Bratislava, in Dominika Cibulkova Academy, in the National Tennis Center and other courts, depending on the surface, what she needs. And that works for her well, and a coach. So she started to show improvement and good results then. And then obviously pandemic slowed that down, you know, a lot of cancellations and tournaments not played. But she's proved last year, and we will hear about her many, many more times.
Yeah, I think we forget as well that she beat Serena Williams at the French Open. Was it in 2021? I know that obviously there's been a lot of talk about the courts that she's been put on and, are they kind of right for a Wimbledon champion? But in some ways, I actually feel like maybe being a bit lower in the rankings, not having so much attention, maybe that has helped her, because we've seen a lot of female players, haven't we, who've burst through and won a slam and then become very highly ranked and have actually struggled with that. So perhaps it's, it hasn't been the worst thing for her.
No, well, we've mentioned it, but has she?
Look, she did mention, and it's not about the respect or what you show, but she actually enjoyed it, that not being, having attention. Her professionalism is very clear. She is focused on the title. She wants to win. Doesn't matter which court you give me. Doesn't matter whether I play day or night. I just want to win. I want to play my game, and this is brilliant. As you can see, very nice professionalism.
Well, we heard from Rybakina before this evening's match.
I think because I knew what to expect, and everything was new at Wimbledon. Now I more or less understand what to expect, and it's nervous no matter what, because it's a final also, and semis, you always nervous before the match, but this time I think I was focusing more on the match, what I have to do, and maybe not to think what's gonna come or what's gonna happen around and so on.
Yeah, sometimes it's best not to think too much or too far ahead.
Absolutely. But she makes me laugh after it with just how kind of calm and composed she is. I know that she says underneath she's nervous, but she just doesn't show any signs of that whatsoever. So, and it works, doesn't it? Amazing if you can just be that composed on court in a Grand Slam semi-final. So let's see what she's like tonight, but I don't expect anything different.
Well, speaking of composure, of course, Sabalenka is a very different player to what we saw here last year. In fact, almost unrecognisable in the way that she's composed on court. She's been through a lot, but she said she's just sort of working her way through every match and not trying to get too negative. It's working out.
It certainly is. I've just been so impressed with her this fortnight. There have been so many opportunities where you think maybe the Aryna Sabalenka of old would have, got so stressed and started waving her arms about and let that negativity seep in. But it just hasn't. Even in the semi-final, she played a really poor first service game against Magdalena. She went 2-0 down and you thought, actually, maybe this is going to be the moment where it kicks in. She really wants to win this semi-final. She's the favourite, but no, she just restarted and she got back to 2-2 and played an unbelievable first set tiebreak, and she just never looked back. And I think the difference in her is incredible. And we heard her coach say as well that actually he thinks maybe the serving problems that she had, maybe they were a bit of a blessing in disguise, because it showed her actually that she's got a lot more to her game, and she can fight through things, and she can win matches another way. And now the serve is back, and she hasn't dropped a set yet all year.
Well, the serve is really interesting, and we did hear from the coach about the service action and what they've done to change it.
Yeah, well, it's not still perfect. It's like a long process. It's gonna be I think till the end of the career. It's a lot of things you can improve. And last year when she faced that, she actually kind of lost the motion and everything. It's and she was kind of afraid just to talk about it. So we know the guy who knows the guy. So biomechanic guy. So we just contact him, sent him a few videos, and just spoke about what are the key moments that are actually not even close to be okay and normal for motion. And I think the greatest thing that happened that she actually been ready to work on it. Right. So it was 5 days before Cincinnati, and she changed the whole motion, just literally the whole motion. But because she is talented, in 5 days she back on the court and she can serve with a new motion on this kind of stage of pressure. She's the whole year a new motion, and again she has to prove herself that she can play. And in winter time we just trying to keep going the same way to build the same key moments to improve them. But as I said, it's still a lot of things you can improve, and on the winter we tried our best, but I can see where we can get even more better.
I'm absolutely staggered by that. 5 days it took to change the server's action and for her then to put that in place in a match. It's one of those things that you've been serving that way your entire career. I mean, and kudos to her for actually going and getting it looked at and saying, hey, you know what, this is not just a mental issue in terms of, you know, these double faults. This is, I've got a problem with my action and I'm going to have to change it. And I mean, dealing with both of those things is massive, but she went and got a biomechanic to have a look at it, said, okay, this is what you need to do. She puts it in action 5 days later, and next thing we know, she's into her first final at the Australian Open.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? And
it's a terrific story.
Yeah, and I think maybe the same as the coaching, isn't it? I think the key thing there was that she bought into it. It wasn't the coach saying, come on, you need to do this. She recognised, yes, I need to do this, and was willing to put the work in and was willing to trust the guy that they found. And that's, I think, why it's worked.
Absolutely, because we could see the results. She can cut the double faults. She served an ace under pressure of a break point. So she cut a lot of ups and downs, and she's dominating 20-0 on sets, you know, starting the season. This is very impressive in women's tennis. Not one set lost.
The other interesting thing which has happened is that she stopped working with a psychologist.
I thought, yeah, that was fascinating.
Yeah, and she said that she has to be her own psychologist now. So I wonder what we'll see out there this evening in terms of some therapy sessions.
Yeah, it's a hell of a stage, isn't it, to talk yourself through it. So, but I thought it was so interesting what she said, you know, that she'd realised actually looking for somebody else to fix her problems, that wasn't going to work. She had to look inside her. And I mean, obviously everybody's different, and for some people, working with a sports psychologist can really help. But for her, she felt that it wasn't the case, and maybe she was just at the stage in her life and her career where she was ready to just take charge. And I think we've seen that in her tennis as well, just how much that belief in herself has translated into belief in her tennis at the most important moment.
And that will be a great test tonight, because when I asked Stefano Vukov, coach of Rybakina, how you beat the girl who is 20-0 this season and 3-0 head-to-head against Rybakina, he said exactly that what they count on is the psychology. That remember that Sabalenka is still chasing her very first Grand Slam title. She has never done it, so this is new to her. All 3 wins against Rybakina were 3 sets, long battles, and they all were and happened before Wimbledon title.
That's right.
So we'll see.
2021 was the last match they played. I'm surprised they didn't actually play in 2022. It's an interesting stat.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm really, really looking forward to this match, I have to say. I think it could be really terrific, and yeah, hopefully we see lots of winners, and then both of them manage to keep their head.
Okay, so let's get down to how this plays out tonight. What are the keys for both players?
Serve, I think, for both of them. I think if one of them has an off day on the serve, I think that's gonna play a massive role. And that, the psychology, you know, if they both manage to keep calm, then I think we're going to see a terrific battle out there, and it'll just be, you know, who manages to play best on the day.
Talk about serve, there is a return as well. So if you return those serves, you get a battle.
Okay, but yes, well, let's not sit on the fence. Who are we saying is going to win? Andre?
Rybakina in 3.
Eleanor?
Sabalenka in 3.
Thanks for joining us on the Twilight Show. We're now heading across to Rod Laver Arena for the women's final here on AO Radio.
Live around the grounds on 99.7 FM. Coming to you via the internet at ozopen.com. And in the palm of your hand with the official Australian Open smartphone app. Here's all the action from Centre Court.
Welcome to Rod Laver Arena. It has all come down to this. 128 singles players have become 2. And it's time to decide the 2023 Australian Open champion. Will it be Wimbledon victor Elena Rybakina, or will Aryna Sabalenka grab hold of that elusive Grand Slam trophy? Here in your company tonight on the stadium's, on the tournament's show court, I should say, Abigail Johnson, and alongside me, Mark Lawati. Hello, Mark. How are you this evening?
Always getting exciting, isn't it? We've just had the national anthem sung. We've got a full house, and it's absolutely electric. The atmosphere around the grounds this evening, I got here a little bit early and had a little stroll around. It is such an amazing vibe outside, and we're in such a privileged position to be able to be here on centre court to watch this spectacular and this event once again has just kept on producing for 2 weeks. It's an awesome night, and tonight we get a new champion, which is even better.
Absolutely, a guaranteed first-time Australian Open winner. And now the players aren't even close to court yet, I don't think, but the stands are already packed, absolutely heaving. The lights were down for the pre-match entertainment. They have now been lifted. The smoke is clearing. But in the last few minutes, a very special moment and a very motivational moment, because none other than last year's champion, Ashley Barty, walks onto court with the singles trophy. And I'm struggling to believe, Mark, that it has been a year since she played what became, and we didn't know it at the time, the final match of her career. She retired about a month later at the age of 25.
And the roar she got when she was announced here as well lifted the roof, which is fantastic. She's such a popular figure here in Australia for the way she's conducted herself in her tennis career, and what she's done for Indigenous tennis and women's tennis, and the profile that she's had, and to top it all off, you know, she's just a really humble, honest, awesome person who's going to be a mum. So, you know, that was big news as well. So retirement's done her well, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's happy now, Ash. I think she brought happiness to so many other people with what she did on the tennis court, and now she's finding happiness for herself, which is awesome. But there'll be only one smiling face at the end of tonight's final, and my goodness, I feel like we say this a lot when it comes to the back end of majors, but looking at this clash between Aryna Sabalenka, who is guaranteed to be back up to her career high ranking of world number 2 after this tournament, and Elena Rybakina, who's looking for Grand Slam trophy number 2. I've been looking at their paths to date, Mark. I've been looking at the history, their own game styles, and so many factors seem to balance each other out tonight. It really looks like a fairly even contest on paper.
Oh, very even. And to me, it's going to be a little bit about who handles the moment the best in the early parts and settles down very, very quickly. You know, we've all heard about Sabalenka's yips with the serving and that emotional side, but I feel in a baseline battle, ground stroke to ground stroke, I'd give it to Sabalenka. Serve-wise, potentially to Rybakina on the serve, just a little bit better. Return a serve, I go to Sabalenka. Movement around the court, I give it to Sabalenka. But you know, that might mean absolutely nothing if one of the women don't handle the occasion as well. Things can just run out of your powers very, very quickly. But it still doesn't help me with deciding who's going to win.
No, absolutely. And I feel like we need to see just the opening few games of this one to get a sense for, I mean, so much of it is mentality as well, the factor of the nerves. It's a huge occasion, and both players have acknowledged that in the lead up, that there are going to be nerves. There is no escaping that. It's how they deal with those inevitable nerves. And with Sabalenka, we don't know it for 100% certainty. She's not been in a major final before, but it's something that she's been pushing for a long time. 3 times she's fallen at the semi-final stage of a major. But something that factors for me in terms of I think she will be able to hold her nerve when it matters is that she has won here in a final before. 2 years ago on the doubles court alongside Elisa Mertens, she lifted the trophy, and we saw a few years ago at Roland Garros, well, in 2021 with Barbora Krejcikova, she was was in her first singles final at a Grand Slam, and everyone was questioning how would she hold up mentally, would she be able to deliver on the day. She played I don't know how many doubles finals on the Grand Slam stage at that point, and she herself said afterwards that helped. And whether Sabalenka's thought much about that or not, I imagine that, look, this isn't the first time she's walked onto Rod Laver Arena for a championship match. She's had that experience whether she was alone or not.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, Sabalenka's been in some big finals on the WTA Tour, and I think I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards the Sabalenka way. And also, she's got a little bit of an Australian flavour to it with her physical trainer, Jason Stacey, being an Aussie and a Melbourne guy here as well. And so, you know, maybe that Aussie attitude also helps with the calming of the nerves and just, you know, letting the player just kind of try to relax a little bit. But it is, no matter what, it is a really emotional moment. And this is, you know, why these tournaments are so difficult to win, because there's so many factors that come into play. And, you know, possibly the biggest one is just testing out your mentality and how strong you are to be able to block out all those externals, because the rules and the court and everything is exactly the same as what it was in round one. But it seems like there's a world of extra things that are thrown on top. So, but everything stays the same. And hey, the women were out practicing today on the same court, same dimensions, same balls, and that would have been pretty loose and pretty relaxed as well. So, you know, you can do that. It's making sure you channel it and have your perception and your perspective in the right manner and really channel it.
Well, let's see if they can stay relaxed. They are now in the Walk of Champions, Rybakina and Sabalenka. We can see them on the monitor in the commentary booth. I actually loved to see there was a little smile from both of them as they were queuing up. Yes, there are nerves. Yes, there is tension. But this is also a moment in both their lifetimes that they will never forget. And there has to be an element of embracing that as well. The countdown has started. The stadium is packed. And the people are ready. It's time for the first singles showdown of the 2023 Australian Open.
And does the fact that Rybakina has been in a final and a Grand Slam winner, does that help? Obviously it does. Listen to the roar. Wow, what a great moment.
And that is for the defending Wimbledon champion, Elena Rybakina, still just 23 years old, going for major trophy number 2.
And their opponent, world number 5, Aryna Sabalenka.
Well, great reception from both women as they step out onto Rod Laver Arena. Almost a 50-50 split with the chair. Very difficult to...
We're weighing everything up here at this point, but she's fought so hard to be here, has Sabalenka. My goodness, if we look back to last year, and she fought so hard, I've got to say, to stay alive as long as she did. She made it to round 4, lost to Kaya Kanepi in 4 sets, but she did go out in a bundle of double faults. And to see the difference from that player to this player is really impressive. And actually her coach, Anton Dubrov, was speaking prior to this match and saying actually that made her a fighter. The fact that she was lacking one of her biggest weapons and she had to learn to grit through her matches in other ways. And yes, it wasn't pretty a lot of the time. And yes, she wasn't going as deep into events as she could have done. But imagine how confident she feels now that she's got that serve back and she's got these other elements of her game as well.
And there's a lot of tennis players that, you know, you hear them say that, oh, if I don't serve that well, I'm not going to play well. And that happens in social tennis as well. You know, it's... So what if your serve doesn't work well? Doesn't stop you running fast for the ball, you know, chasing down every single shot that comes your way, you know, hustling, trying to find a way. So I think it's a great element to have, and that whole winning ugly, you know, which is what we talk about when things not working well.
Red for the towel, blue for the towel. Any questions? No. Let's turn around, and who would you like to ask? Asking Elena. What are you asking? AO or Ken Rosewell? AO is the call. It is Ken Rosewell. Serve. Thank you.
So that was Thomas Sweeney. He's the chair umpire for this women's final. Just going through the coin toss. I believe that Elena Rybakina chose to serve there, and it was Rybakina ahead of this match who was saying that the serve could be a hugely instrumental factor. There are very few secrets out here. Both players can rip the ball. I found it particularly interesting what Rybakina was saying about playing Victoria Azarenka on this court 2 days ago in the semi-finals. Impressive win for Rybakina. She kept it to the straight set scoreline against the two-time former champion. But she talks about the contrast of the day conditions and the night conditions. She said the ball was heavy, it was traveling slower, it was tough to cut through the court. And she talks about needing to be prepared for the rallies going a little bit longer. Now, the more I talk about this, and I think Rybakina's been ridiculously impressive this fortnight. She's taken down 3 major champions in a row, and I think she's the first player to do that since 2001. So it's been a while since someone's done that on a run to a Grand Slam final, a Grand Slam trophy. But I feel like if these rallies do extend, then maybe the security that Sabalenka has with a little bit more topspin and her movement, that might just give her the edge.
Yeah, and Sabalenka is really impressive with the way she changes the direction and redirects the ball very, very well off both wings. She doesn't just keep, she's receiving a ball from the forehand cross court, she just doesn't keep going back to that spot. She changes the direction, and I think she'll know that she has to try to expose the movement of Rybakina, and she does it so well off both wings, which is deadly.
So Elena Rybakina in the forecourt now as these two continue the warm-up. Such a buzz around the arena. You can just sense the difference, even though it's so much is the same, including the kits. We've got Sabalenka in the blue-fronted dress with the multicolored skirt. She's got kind of pink-violet color on the heels of her trainers. Elena Rybakina mostly in black. We've got a little bit more pink and purple on the skirt. She's got the black visor as well. I mean, the two of them, Mark, kind of said that nothing's changing ahead of this match. Not in terms of routine, not in terms of how I'm thinking about it. And it was Sabalenka particularly that picked up on the fact, if I think about it too much, that makes it a bigger deal.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's when you can start to talk yourself into being really, really nervous, because it's like, and unfortunately, both women, when they enter the stadium, they walk.
That altered anything at all in terms of confidence, or was that just another match, another day at the office?
Oh, it's definitely a good feeling when you beat the #1 player in the world. That gives you a lot more pep to your step, that's for sure. And knowing that you've beaten someone of that caliber who's had an amazing 2022, the way Swiatek, just absolutely dominated the women's tour. It's it's a great thing, and it also just shows a bit of belief of my off season has done me good, and I'm in a good headspace, and it's okay it's very good to take out the #1 seed, but then what happens next? It's no good that you go and lose that match, because the mentality is that's my big win for the tournament and that's it. So it's really pleasing to see that she has not only beaten the #1 seed, won the next round, but now she's got a chance to lift the crown.
I'm just so curious to see how this one kicks off, because the paths to this final, as both players now at the change of ends at the sit down, just taking a drink, toweling down, getting ready for this first game of this huge match. The very different paths to this stage. Sabalenka's been dominant, not just at the Australian Open, but this season as a whole. She's played 20 sets. She's won all of them, so 10-match winning streak for Sabalenka. That said, Rybakina has had the tougher path. She's had the top 10 players. She's had the world #1. She's had the former major champions. So different roads to this showdown, but the fact is they've both made it, and it's equal opportunity. It's a one-match shootout to see who lifts the trophy. Aryna Sabalenka is serving first, and she's at the near side of the court. Back to us in the commentary booth. Glad to have you with us here on AO Radio. Abigail Johnson and Mark Halawati with you at the beginning of this match. And Kate Kearns will be taking your messages, so do get in touch to give us your opinions. Not a great start to this encounter for Sabalenka. Though if she could see the funny side, that she's open with a double fault. Shades of the past. She's got a sense of humour, Sabalenka.
Yeah.
We've seen that in her press conferences. We've seen that around the court. And I think that's quite key, even though that's a less than ideal start to the match, to be able to laugh it off. She backs it up with an ace down the tee. Well done. 15-all on the service game of the
1-2, the throw in the double fault and then reply with an ace. But I think tonight, to me, it's going to be the return of serve. That is going to be the big pivotal point of this match.
100%.
Who can be the one that really dominates off the returns?
There's huge serves for both, as we see another one come down the tee from Sabalenka, back behind forehand winner. Bounces on the balls of her feet and then puts her head down as she heads back to the baseline to collect the extra ball. So 30-15 on the Sabalenka serve. And just so that you know how to get in touch with us at AO Radio, if you're new around here, you can email us directly at aoradio@tennis.com.au, or you can fill out the Ask the Booth form at ozopen.com/AO Radio. Sabalenka's gone down the tee again. Cross-court forehand is the forehand of Rybakina that goes deep. Rybakina on top of the baseline. Cross-court forehand is just wide, and that's 40-15. I nearly called Sabalenka Azarenka then. There is a reason for that. 10 years ago, her fellow countrywoman, Azarenka, lifted the trophy. I'm quite the one for history, Mark, and history repeating
last time
itself.
it was 10-10-10.
Yeah, that
Not sure
number.
how that worked.
Yeah, number kept coming up. This time, there are just some things that made me think, like Azarenka winning there. The ace down the tee for Sabalenka. That is some turnaround in the game. 4 straight points to hold the opening service game. 1-love at the first change of ends in the favour of the server. So Rybakina will be chasing here.
And no sign of nerves after that double fault. 4 clean points, all coming middle of the racket off every ground stroke and serve. Nice little opening game for Sabalenka there. That's got to make her feel a little bit better.
So here's what I've got. So Azarenka won 10 years ago. Okay, we've got that one. Other one that I like. Sabalenka won her first tournament of the year in Adelaide. Adelaide won, so she's not lost a match this season. Who else won Adelaide won last season and went on to win the trophy here?
Oh, you're not saying Azarenka.
Ash Barty.
Oh, sorry.
But I'm just talking about the element. I'm
talking
talking about the element of history repeating itself. I feel like we see that in tennis a fair amount. Rybakina at the near side now in her second major final. Won that original trophy last year at Wimbledon from a set down against Ons Jabeur, who was the number 2 seed. It's the backhand return up the line here from Sabalenka. Cross court on the 1-2 from Rybakina, and Sabalenka's wide up the line. So first point on the board for the number 22 seed on serve.
And Sabalenka has to be aware of that backhand cross court. She's got to be ready to cover that shot, force Rybakina to go up the line with that backhand, because she does that cross court backhand so well. That's the one that's on automatic pilot. She does that and hits the targets every single time.
Wide serve from Rybakina. The ball comes deep to the feet. The forehand cross-court is the follow-up from Sabalenka, and the cross-court forehand's wide from Rybakina. Now, she's got to watch out. That return came in at her body. I feel like we'll see that quite a bit from Sabalenka. We saw it numerous times from Azarenka. That's how she had some success against the Rybakina serve. So that's made it 15-all.
Just 2 forehand cross-court errors too from Rybakina. Sabalenka targeting that side.
Hushed crowd. First serve shot down the tee. The ace for Rybakina, who doesn't even react. That's her theme. Keeps it pretty low-key on the court. Just nods ahead and takes the extra ball from the back of the court. Takes the time heading to the baseline. The faintest rim of blue on the heel of the black trainers. She serves out wide. It's an ace out wide. Sabalenka at full stretch with the backhand. Couldn't get a racket on that. So double game point here for Rybakina.
Both women, when they're returning, going to be expected that they're going to get aced. Both Women have some great serves. A lot of speed.
So Rybakina looking to get on the game board. Oh my goodness, there's an ace down the tee. 3 straight aces for the Kazakh, just to emphasize that that is the major weapon, and that went so far to getting her to that Wimbledon title. She was not a lead contender going into that event last season, and that was her most recent title. She's not got the best record, Rybakina, when it comes to finals. She's 3 wins and 7 losses in professional finals, and she's lost 5 of her last 6. So that's a thread of hope for Sabalenka, who's just fired an ace down the tee. We're not going to see many rallies
No,
tonight,
this is my kind of tennis. If I was playing, this is the length of rally that I really enjoy. Just one hit does my fitness the world of good.
As long as that hit is coming from your racket and not the opponent's.
You get tired walking side to side being aced.
15 love, Sabalenka down the tee. Rybakina's read it, but she's stretched out and the ball is long. So the forehand drifting, and Sabalenka with the 30 love advantage.
So it'll be interesting, as we talk, the return being really, really important, where the women change their court positioning if someone is serving really, really big and winning a lot of free points. A la Sabalenka right there.
How many of the aces have come down the tee?
Yeah.
I feel like the majority. That's another one for Sabalenka. So triple game point here. Rybakina just trying to get a little bit more going about her body language, jumping from foot to foot, swaying from side to side in the ready position. Sabalenka down the tee. This time it's clipping the net, that delivery, so she'll head to the back of the court, grab the extra ball. As my notes go everywhere.
That's all right.
That's
too many notes.
That's Mark's
You're too well
side
prepared.
gig. Yeah, far too well prepared. Sabalenka down the tee misses, so it will be a second serve. Now, where will Rybakina... She's shuffled in ever so slightly for the second serve return. She's still just behind the baseline. Sabalenka serves out wide. It kicks into the backhand. It's a return winner from Rybakina. She took that early, and that barely caught the back of the court. Surely we're going to see a close call on that. Apparently not.
Not sure if this was aiming to get it that close to the line, but a nice clean hit, but landed well inside the baseline.
Now, we just got a replay on the monitor. I think she just took it so quickly that it was hard to see that land. It's the off forehand from Sabalenka, anticipated by Rybakina. Dead net cord. Sabalenka scrambles across it with the backhand. It's a passing winner from Rybakina. Little bit of a shame there for Sabalenka. The net cord forced us to completely reroute, and even in the forecourt, put on the back foot. But the focus from Rybakina was right there.
Yeah, great bit of adaptation from Sabalenka, and she just acknowledges with a little clap on the strings after that one. It's a good little response. Not an ideal situation, but still game point, serving at 40-30.
Good job she had breathing room on the scoreboard. She serves down the tee. Sabalenka misses, so it's a second serve to come. Rybakina on top of the baseline fractionally. Sabalenka stops the service motion. I think a bird interrupted. I'm not sure where it is. I can just hear it squawking, and I think she could too. So she'll go again with the toss down the tee. The forehand from Rybakina is deep to the feet, and it's forced the backhand wide from Sabalenka. Both players sailing dangerously close to the winds, but it is the first opportunity, the first half chance for Rybakina as she gets to deuce. There is some room to play around with here. First time Sabalenka's really going to have to think her way through this. So third game, first deuce. Sabalenka serves into the body. It's long. Second serve to come. There was no reaction from Rybakina on that previous point, but a quick glance over at her coaching team. They're on the near side to the left of us in the commentary booth, and it's a double fault from Sabalenka. I'm not sure she'll be so quick to laugh this one off.
And keeping a very close eye on the coach for Rybakina. He's giving a lot of hand signals from the far end of the court, telling her to creep forward on the second serves. And I'm guessing this one she's going to try to return to the Sabalenka forehand. Might have been the signal.
Sabalenka to the tee, and the forehand of Rybakina. The forehand is long from Sabalenka. No reaction, just bumps the ball behind her. And no reaction from Rybakina either, but that has got to feel good because she went down an early break in her match with Azarenka. Not this time. It is Elena Rybakina leading 9 minutes on the match clock, 3 games on the board, 2-1 Rybakina. Now, Time to check in with Kate Kearns. Kate, I hope you're there and ready to bring us some reader messages.
Well,
what have you got?
I certainly am, Abigail. We've got one from Catherine in West Ireland. It's Saturday morning here and looking forward to a great challenge from both players. And Jessica from London, well, she said this is the worst ever because I like both of these players and I can't decide who I want to win. I say, get off the fence, Jessica. Pick a team. And she said, I wish Ostapenko was still playing. That's her favourite player.
Ostapenko sent packing by Rybakina herself. So maybe that edges you towards Aryna Sabalenka, maybe, because she didn't take out Ostapenko.
Maybe, who knows?
Might be helpful.
And Vishal is listening to us from India and said, who amongst the commentators predicted the correct finalists of tonight's match? Very good question.
Did anyone?
This morning I thought Sabalenka was going to play Rybakina. That was my early prediction as of Saturday morning. I did pick early. I did say Sabalenka, she was my little smoky to make the final.
Really? Do we need to check this?
Yeah, go to day one.
Oh, we'll give that to him. I do believe I remember him saying that. That's the last time I'll speak up in Mark's defence tonight.
That's right. It's the last time he was actually essentially something correct.
Okay, they're back at the baseline, these two players, and Rybakina serving from the far end of the court. Umpire's chair to her left. The return is long from Sabalenka. Rybakina served T. And this is where we really see what Sabalenka's made of. The issue comes sometimes when you haven't been trebled leading up to a final, or when you haven't been down. You've not had the opportunity to fight from that situation. Sometimes the fire has not yet been instilled and there might be a little bit of work to do on the day. The serve is kicked into the Sabalenka body. She took it on the backhand, now scoops the forehand deep, the forehand inside in from Rybakina. Then she was going to take the backhand cross court, but it was long from Sabalenka. So nice bit of daylight on the scoreboard for Rybakina at 2-130 love.
But interestingly there, Sabalenka, a long way behind the baseline to return that second serve. So she's definitely changed her court positioning early on after being ace several times in Rybakina's opening service game. So she's definitely making an adjustment.
Rybakina down the tee, forces the error from the backhand side. So triple game point. And again, she's giving nothing, Rybakina, but this is impressive. Triple game point to back up the break of serve to love. This is a key game for Sabalenka to show her presence, to stop the scoreboard pressure piling up, and she's not really been able to make much of an impact so far. She's looking at a second serve here, though. The delivery out wide is wide from Rybakina. So Sabalenka still a pace behind the baseline, awaits the second serve. It comes into the backhand. She rips it cross court. Rybakina gets around it, down the line from Sabalenka. Forehand deep from Rybakina, off forehand from Sabalenka, and Rybakina just scoops the backhand back and then the forehand into the net.
That's the point that Sabalenka needs to play. She took Rybakina from one corner of the court to the other 4 times in a row, and safe hitting as well. She didn't have to go close to the lines, but that movement created that error. Rybakina just got a little bit late on that third shot off the backhand wing and just took too far distance-wise to cover that last shot and netted. So smart play from Sabalenka.
Rybakina finds the first serve out wide into the forehand, gets low with the legs to drive the backhand, and it forces the error from Sabalenka. Quick use of the court from Rybakina, and that is the 2-game deficit on the scoreboard. 3-1 she leads.
You see crowd starting to sink their teeth into this match as well. Look at the feeling they're going to be in for a blockbuster.
Trying to find a spare seat. Maybe a few at the back, but not that many. There's a particular group I'm trying to work out at the far baseline, all in red shirts. My mission for this set is to work out who they're supporting. The return down the line is wide from Rybakina, so that's a nice little foothold for Sabalenka at the beginning of this game. She's not giving a lot. That's something that she gives herself a lot of credit for in terms of her development over the last year, just being a little calmer on the court. She's nicknamed the Tiger. We can see that tiger tattoo on the inside of her left arm as she drives a backhand down the line and forces the forehand error from Rybakina. But she's trying to roar a bit less, Sabalenka, conserve a bit more energy and just give the opposition less to play with, less to feed off. And she's doing a good job of it in this difficult position, down an early break. But 30 love on serve down the tee. She backs up for the cross-court backhand, and Rybakina is into the bottom of the net with the backhand. So triple game points for Sabalenka.
Not a lot of time between the rallies either. There, both women just getting up to the baseline, ready to serve so quickly between points.
Guess there's less thinking time when you do that. Down the tee from Sabalenka with the serve, and then backhand cross court. Rybakina's well balanced, and the backhand's wide from Sabalenka on the third shot of the rally. So she just swings an arm in frustration, but knows that she's still got the scoreboard advantage in this game. 40-15, still a couple of game points.
Not a lot of variation in pace from both players. You'll find they'll just go hard and then potentially a little bit harder. There's no real margin for safety. They're not going to back off and just try to roll the ball into play. Big second serve here at 40-15. Rybakina well inside the baseline on this return.
24-year-old Sabalenka serves into the body of Rybakina. Then the backhand's deep and it's a winner. As Rybakina was so close to the baseline off the back of the return that she was not ready to deal with the depth of shot there from Sabalenka. So the world's number 5 still very much in touch at this change of ends. 3-2 in Rybakina's favour. What are we making of the early stages of this one, Mark? Anything that either player needs to change particularly?
Well, it's being dominated by the serve straight away. So it's going to be which player can try to get a little bit more of the first serve returns back into play. No doubt second serves, the returner's got a far better shot at it, but it's trying to nullify the advantage of the big serve. Get racket on ball, try to make your opponent hit that first ground stroke after the serve. Otherwise, it's been really dominated with the first serve and points over. So, but I like the way that Sabalenka adjusted her return position a little bit on that last return game, although it didn't give her a break of serve. It just shows that she's thinking about it, knowing that she has to do something a little bit differently here. Try to nullify the pace of that serve, just give a little bit more time and space.
Rybakina collecting the balls at the back of the court to the left-hand side of the umpire's chair. And she'll break the top 10 in the world for the first time on Monday. When she won Wimbledon, she didn't get any ranking points for that.
She would have been She would have been top 10 now, I think, if she had got those Wimbledon points.
She would have been. But everyone knew the situation heading into that event as Rybakina sends an unreturned serve down the tee. Most of all, Sabalenka, actually, who was banned from competition and said that she didn't watch that event. She didn't take a glance at it because she was asked prior to this match, did she watch Rybakina's Wimbledon final? And she stayed clear of that one. There's probably extra motivation to capitalise now she has the opportunity, but the Rybakina serve has something to say about that. It's an ace out wide to make it 30-love.
Sabalenka and her team would have done some homework on the serve patterns of where Rybakina likes to go with those first serves in certain situations. She's got to be ready to try to cover what the server feels more comfortable with.
Oh, someone caught that one in the crowd, but it wasn't, I don't think it was a clean catch. I think it bounced off the backboards at the end of the court. So not fully deserving of a ovation from the entire arena as Sabalenka sends the backhand return down the line, and the backhand cross court is wide on the stretch. A few backhand errors from Sabalenka. It does look like Rybakina is looking to really try and break down that particular wing.
Yeah, and that's that cross court backhand from Rybakina. I'd like to see Sabalenka try to slice that one. She's in a tough situation on full stretch, and she's miscued a couple of those on the run backhands.
Rybakina with the ace
serving
down the tee.
Can't do much about that.
No, that's why she was my original favourite here, Rybakina. That serve is blistering. That is not something that she saw a lot of in the earlier stages of her match with Azarenka. That first serve percentage was, I think, below the 50% mark in the opening set. But then there's the encouragement of, hey, I've just won that set without that serve. It's like Sabalenka coming through those battles last year when she was serving all the double faults. It does give you that self-belief, the elements of your game, and then maybe the freedom to produce on serve now as well, as Sabalenka takes the forehand down the line, the backhand into the middle of the court, length off it. Rybakina will drive through it and force the error from the forehand. Raises a racket in apology, but it is love 15. She's got the opening point on the return.
And the coach just telling Rybakina maybe to stay back a little bit on this first serve return. Just trying to work out the hand gestures here and try to make sense of what's being displayed. It's the first long rally that Rybakina has come out on top.
Sabalenka served down the tee. The forehand returned to the feet from Rybakina, and then the next forehand scoots long, a little bit more height on that ball and too much length. Sabalenka on the board in this service game. Hush from the crowd. And Sabalenka looks across at Rybakina, sends up the toss, sends down the serve. It's just wide of the service box, so a second delivery to come. Sabalenka, ranked opponent beaten this tournament is the number 12 seed, Belinda Bencic, for Sabalenka, current Olympic gold medalist. Double fault for Sabalenka. Few of those in these earlier stages of the match, and she just grits her teeth on that occasion, hides it, turning her back to Rybakina to collect the balls, but it's just starting to irritate her. Third double fault puts her 2-4, 15-30 down. Sabalenka out wide. It's an ace.
That's the response, and that to me says a lot about the mentality of Sabalenka and how she's really, really improved. Yep, I'm going to hit a double fault. That's part and parcel. That's going to happen. It's the response that's important. And boy, what a massive response. 30-all, 2-4.
Serve into the body, taken on the forehand by Rybakina. Back behind with the forehand from Sabalenka. Then the backhand cross-court into the backhand of Rybakina, kept deep. Cross-court backhand again from Sabalenka. Depth on this one from Rybakina. She has to take a few more steps to steady around the slower ball. Sabalenka slicing. Then she'll take the forehand up the line. Rybakina cross-court into the net. And that is the biggest reaction we've heard from Aryna Sabalenka thus far, as the ball collides with net from the Rybakina racket and makes it 40-30 in Sabalenka's favour.
And a tougher point there from Sabalenka. Twice she was forced out on the backhand out wide and went with the slice, kept the ball in play. Previously she's gone with the two-hander and made the errors. So a good tough point, forcing her opponent to play and miss.
Huge release of tension there, you feel, for Sabalenka as she serves down the tee, misses wide. So it hinges on a second serve. Rybakina with the usual jog from side to side, just a fraction of her left foot encroaching on the baseline. Sabalenka serves down the tee. It kicks into the forehand. Rybakina stretched out on the backhand. Back behind is a winner from Sabalenka, who pumps a fist and closes the gap to one game once again. Rybakina still with the break advantage at 4-3, but a hugely significant hold of serve for Sabalenka.
Especially after that double fault as well. So three really, really tough points. Followed it with a big ace after the double fault. That scrambling rally forcing Rybakina to miss after two slice backhands, and then that final point. So that's, to me, a big mental win right there for Sabalenka.
Kate, I'm going to check back in with you. What are the listeners saying about this match?
Oh, Abigail Saif has written to us from the Netherlands saying, "Good evening, can't believe we're close to the end of this year's AO. We'll miss waking up to your delightful commentary every morning. As a neutral, I'm hoping Sabalenka will win today because she hasn't won a major before. But more importantly, hoping both players carry on this form and develop compelling rivalries alongside Iga." And Chris has written in saying, sad that we're at the end of the tournament. Everyone's getting a bit sad.
Yeah, it's a tough time.
Yeah, I'm feeling it today. It's my last day. Emotionally unstable.
So listening again from the stadium above your commentary box, you must have, was there a question before about who the red spectators are?
Yes. Do we have info?
Yeah, the Australian firefighters.
Oh.
And they were also responsible for the recorded out calls in prior years.
Oh, fantastic.
That's awesome to
we
have
the best listeners in the world.
Yeah, thank you to our listeners. We don't need to do any homework now. They've got it covered, front and centre.
Do less. I remember that was the piece of advice. Who gave us that piece of advice?
I think it was Magdalene.
Yes.
It might have been Magdalene.
Yes,
do less, win more.
Yes.
As Elena Rybakina serves from the far baseline, the cross-court forehand from Sabalenka, then the backhand cross-court finds the corner. Rybakina's on the stretch. Sabalenka will take steps around the ball and plant the overhead away. It is love 15, and that's a huge start to this return game.
So four consecutive points from Sabalenka, carrying on from the last game.
You know, the surnames Rybakina and Sabalenka have never felt similar at all until this match, when I'm having to say both of them in quick succession. We got some nice messages from our listeners. All my mother had to say was, get their names right, Abigail. I got that through just now.
Wow, you're being punished by Mum.
Yeah, thanks, Mum, on the other side of the world, still tuning in. Elena Rybakina down the tee, misses by some distance. So second serve to come. She'll take a long glance over at Sabalenka, who rocks from side to side, a pace behind the baseline, and she sends the backhand cross-court deep to the backhand into the net from Rybakina.
Great depth on that return of serve.
Now, is this any kind of change from Rybakina's end of the court, or is this more intensity and better placement of shot from Sabalenka?
Yeah, that point in case was a difficult return, really deep. So I think, again, with Sabalenka standing back a little bit further, she's giving herself a bit more time to see the return.
Love 30, Rybakina down the tee. She's on top of the court. The forehand down the line is wide. That is not a shot that she'd have missed, I don't think, a few minutes ago, but it's incredible what the scoreboard and the opponent pressure can do to you. This is triple break back point.
So a hot run of 6 points in a row from Sabalenka. And just like that, got 3 break points to level at 4-all.
And Sabalenka eyeing up this huge opportunity. Rybakina serves into the body. That can only be blocked wide by Sabalenka. Just wasn't ready for that at all. Deep breath from the 24-year-old.
That's her first body serve that Rybakina has done. She's gone down the tee and out wide all night long thus far. So great little change up. Caught Sabalenka unaware. Still 2 break points to come. 15-40.
And Rybakina will serve into the body again. Sabalenka drives the forehand deep to the feet. Then she slices the backhand on the run. Rybakina approaches behind the slice, and Sabalenka will nail the backhand down the line. Pumps a fist and roars in the direction of her camp. She has leveled up this opening set at 4 games all. Now, what was the Rybakina reaction? I don't think there was one.
No, and again, I've seen this in the last couple of matches from Rybakina. When she comes to the net, she gets past without lunging and attempting a volley. And once again, she had to hit that short slice, came on in, and there was no reaction. That ball wasn't that far away from her. So that's an area of a game she's got to get a little bit better.
I think people were edging towards Sabalenka on the movement department.
Very much so.
She's just an inch shorter. Both of these two are pretty tall. They're at the taller end of the scale. 5'11", Sabalenka, 6 foot tall is Rybakina. That was the reason she couldn't continue with the ice skating that she was getting involved with as a child, as she goes forehand cross-court to the Sabalenka forehand. That one's long from Sabalenka as she's put on the stretch, and Rybakina closed behind that. She put the pressure on with the positioning for love 15.
So just that, going back to that point of when Rybakina comes forward to the net, it's almost like she's giving up the ghost in that situation and hoping that the opponent misses. The good net players, they're able to read where the pass is going to go and just be able to lunge and force the baseline to get it past your outstretched racket.
Sabalenka serves down the tee, misses by about a metre there. She'll just knock that ball off to the left-hand side, scrambled up by one of the ball kids who's crouched down by the nets. Sabalenka still bouncing the ball ahead of the second serve. 4-all, love 15. She serves into the body, and it's a double fault. She stops dead, Sabalenka, as if she can't quite believe that. Little dramatic turn.
She went big on that second serve too, 174 kilometres per hour. Those second serves are going long, so she's getting potentially the ball toss a little bit too far out in front. She's not bringing it back and getting a little bit more kick on it, a little bit more spin.
She stood at the baseline with her back to Rybakina for a solid 5 seconds there, just getting herself composed, but it hasn't worked. She's missed the first serve out wide. Rybakina sensing an immediate opportunity here. It's love 30. It's a second serve to come from the world number 5, who serves out wide to the forehand. She clips the let, and you can hear the reaction from the crowd. It's hard to ignore the situation when you're getting murmurs like that. Sabalenka, again, gritting her teeth, just trying to hold it together. She's got the ball for the second serve. Eyes at Rybakina, then observes the toss. The serve is out wide. The forehand's driven down the line for a winner.
Gutsy play, big sliding second serve out wide. The return came cross-court. She had time. That was not an easy shot to play that up the line. Just cleared the net. Great commitment to the shot. She didn't slow down and get tentative on that last strike.
I love how she's handling herself here, Sabalenka. Yeah. Positive words to herself, a nod of encouragement to herself. She is her own psychologist these days. It looks like she's her own coach on court right now as well. Misses the first serve down the tee. So
maybe a let.
Oh, it's a let. Okay. Well, that must barely have caught. or else I need glasses, which I think is the case. I'm going to have to get that checked out. First serve to come again for Sabalenka. Down the tee ferociously this time. The off forehand into the backhand of Rybakina, who gets that deep into the corner. Sabalenka's into the net.
Well, great depth from the racket of Rybakina. Unfortunately, Sabalenka on that first hit couldn't get the ball wide enough. Rybakina right there.
She's feeding off the pace, Rybakina, and her reward for that is double break point to regain the advantage. 15-40, Sabalenka misses down the tee. That first serve percentage is starting to plummet. Sweeps back the hair from her face.
Big moment here, this second serve.
Bounces the ball. Second delivery will come to the forehand. Taken deep to the feet, but too deep from Rybakina. That is long, and it's a fist clench and a shrug of the shoulders from Sabalenka.
And interestingly, 2 second serves on that juice court. Sabalenka has gone big pressure moments, like love 30 in it. And that last point, it's gone that second serve out to the forehand side. So maybe she's sensing the big moments. That's the wing to hit that second serve too. Might get a few errors.
Break point number 2. She's missed the first delivery. She's cannoned that serve into the service clock, has Sabalenka. I think she might have broken it, so we'll just have to see if that number still changes when she hopefully lands the second delivery. No, she's missed it. It's a double fault, and she this time flings her arms up, not in anger, Sabalenka, but in despair at what she's just done. She has gift wrapped the break back to her opponent after fighting so hard to get back on level terms. She dumps her racket on her bag, gathers up the towel, and sits down to take stock of what just happened. Elena Rybakina shortly will serve for the opening set. What do our listeners think of that? Let's check back in with Kate Kearns.
Well, Beth is... Well, I don't know where Beth is listening to us from. And, of course, if you're going to contact us here on AO Radio, we really love to hear where you're listening to us from, which country, what city, and, for me, what temperature it is. Beth, I'll just make it up. I think Beth is going to be in... Oh, I don't know, England today. Yes.
England. Beth, home goal.
Beth wants to know why Rybakina is seeded 22, and she is the reigning Wimbledon champion. And
Good
she
question.
says puzzling. Sorry if this has already been explained.
Kate, are you going for that one, or do you want me to cover that?
Go forth.
Well, there were no points awarded at Wimbledon this year because it was not deemed to be a level playing field. Russian and Belarusian players like Aryna Sabalenka were not able to play Wimbledon this season, and therefore the decision was made to eliminate ranking points. Therefore, Rybakina didn't pick up any ranking points for that win, as she knew was going to be the case prior to the tournament. So no surprises there, but it does make her ranking a little bit confusing.
Well, that's the ranking. What about the seeding, though? Because they don't always go to the ranking.
Oh, is that the question?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what Beth is asking.
I think there's the ability to do that, but I feel like in the past, and Mark might be able to help me out here, only Wimbledon has really tampered with the seedings so much. Other Grand Slams seem to stay away from it, so I don't think the Australian Open would be sticking their oar in there, as Rybakina is serving for the set. She takes the backhand cross-court deep into the backhand of Sabalenka. The backhand lifted deep to Sabalenka's body, and the backhand up the line is wide from the number 5 seed. So Rybakina in this most monumental of games with the first point on the board. That is a settler.
And a good job from Rybakina there, getting pulled around the court, stayed in the rally. That's what she needs to do in these moments when Sabalenka is controlling the points. She's got to just hang tough, force Sabalenka to go close to the lines like that last one. Unfortunately, she missed it wide.
First I've missed by Rybakina. Sabalenka absolutely has to penalise this second serve. With two players with such huge deliveries, this could be the decisive factor of the final. She serves into the body, does Rybakina. The backhand's taken cross-court, but the next backhand up the line is into the net. Sabalenka crouches on her haunches for a couple of seconds before picking herself up to try again. This set starts to slip away at 5-4, 30 love.
Sabalenka caught out by the length of that backhand cross-court. Great movement out wide. Just put it within centimetres. So great start, 30 love, serving for the opening set.
Rybakina down the tee, misses. A reminder that in her only previous singles Grand Slam final, she did go down a set to Ons Jabeur, looking to give herself some more breathing room on this occasion. She serves into the body, the backhand deep to the feet from Sabalenka, forehand into the corner from Rybakina. There just wasn't quite enough length on that return. She's forced the error, and she's pumped the fist. Elena Rybakina with triple set point here on Rod Laver Arena.
So interesting there, Sabalenka took that return on the backhand side. She had time and space to take it with the forehand, but she wanted to hit a two-handed backhand. Would have loved to see her try to experiment with that forehand. She hits it well. Set points.
3 set points,
there
and she only needs one. She does not break strides, Elena Rybakina, as she heads to the change of ends. That was an ice-cool finish to a pretty impressive set of tennis from the reigning Wimbledon champion. She is one set away from adding another major trophy to her haul. Elena Rybakina, the number 22 seed, with the 6-4 advantage. And as Mark rightly pointed out, she'll head straight to the tunnel. And I think Aryna Sabalenka is hot on her heels. Just a little bit less of a spring in her step. Just big strides from Sabalenka, looking to regain some composure as she heads off the tournament's stadium court.
And a good move there from Sabalenka following as well, because she was able to walk in front of her coach, who obviously gave her some words of wisdom. So she's gone to look like she had an outfit in her hand, so she's gone to change outfits. Wow, so this match just turned on its head. There was a little bit of a streak of 6-7 points from Sabalenka midway through that set. She looked like she was in control, but then all of a sudden she lost that first serve, struggled to land that winning blow, and Rybakina just took over.
This is where things will get really interesting. This is the first set that Sabalenka has lost, not just this tournament, but this year. So now you see her in a mettle. Now you really see where she's at mentally and if she's ready to fight. I will be seeing that, but I'll be seeing it from an alternative venue. I've got to work out where I go to watch the rest of the match now, because it will be Steve Pearce joining Mark Lawati in the hot seat for the remainder of this, well, the remainder of the set, the next few games. There's going to be another commentary change with you here on AO Radio. So I've been Abigail Johnson. Pleasure to be with you for the fortnight. Mark, give us a fist bump. Always,
see you later.
Always
so
great
sad.
to be on the mic
It's an
with
emotional day.
It
You
is.
leave. Have a safe flight and a very happy and successful and a safe year of life on the road and commentary. I hope you do I know you'll do a wonderful job.
Thank you, Mark.
And I look forward to hearing your soothing tones all around the world.
Let's hope so. I will see you all soon, and I'm going to throw to Kate Kearns to read out some more of your messages while Steve takes my place here in the commentary booth.
Thanks, Abigail. Dan's listening to us from San Antonio in Texas. It's 49 degrees Fahrenheit and raining. 2 more nights with my new friends at AO Radio. Going to miss you all. It's been fun. He thinks Rybakina will be able to win in 3. Well, she's looking good to do it in 2 at this stage, and says have a good broadcast. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. 49 degrees Fahrenheit. What's that? That's frosty in my eyes, isn't it?
That's pretty cold. I'm
Yeah.
just, it's around about 5 degrees, I think. I'm making that up.
No,
Mark, sorry.
That's frosty.
Franco Kim says, hey guys, love your coverage. Love from Korea. And Dale Simpson is listening to us from Darwin. No, actually, I've got that wrong. It's hi, Abigail and Mark, and it will soon be Steve and Mark. My name is Kelly, and I'm a vision-impaired listener from Darwin, listening via Vision Australia Radio. Abigail, I just want to compliment you on your commentary and your ability to be chatting one moment and then accurately calling every stroke the next. It really is a skill.
I take my hat off to all the commentators.
And, of course, Mark, thanking you for your insights into the game and the individual players. This makes such a difference in getting to know them.
Oh, this is lovely. Lots of thanks going on.
There's lots of thanks.
It's just delightful.
Steve, I imagine there'll be many thanks coming your way very, very soon.
I wouldn't bank on it.
And then Anne Riley's written to us from Glasgow in Scotland. It's -2. That sounds pretty cold to me.
Certainly is.
And what are the roles at all if each player wins a set? What are the roles at all if each player wins a set? I'm not sure what the question there
Maybe
is.
the roles of momentum,
might need
potentially.
More information, as we say.
It's roles as ROLES.
All right, we're just about to get going. Thanks, Kate. Kate Kearns with all your messages. Keep them coming through. Mark Hilawati and Steve Pearce with you in the commentary box as Aryna Sabalenka starts this second set, a set that she must have if she's going to take this Australian Open into a deciding set. First set to Elena Rybakina, as you've been hearing. Thanks to Mark and Abigail for that coverage of that first set, which lasted what? Actually, that long, was it?
31 minutes.
Fairly
32
quick.
minutes.
Yeah, fairly speedy. Sabalenka here, serving onto the forehand of Rybakina. Backhand heavy from Sabalenka. Couple of heavy backhands pushing to get near the baseline. Push too hard. 15-all.
So Rybakina at this stage has been winning these little extended rallies, which I didn't expect to happen. I thought it would be Sabalenka that would be the one that would enjoy trying to lengthen out the point.
15-all, opening game of the second set here as Sabalenka serves. Nice response on the backhand from Rybakina, stepping in with a big forehand. Inside out, beautifully done for a clean winner.
All right, body language change there from Sabalenka. A little bit despondent as she walks back to receive another ball. She's got to come out with some really, really good positive energy. She threw her hands up a couple times towards the end of that opening set. I didn't like that.
No, agreed. Serving here heavily, but out wide.
And again, she just slaps the leg with her hand after missing that first serve.
It's looked a bit edgy on a couple of occasions, hasn't it? You know, like it really has. And it's a big moment, your first final in the singles. Sabalenka serves, lands this onto the backhand of Rybakina. Here's another backhand from Rybakina, going cross-court the pair. Nicely done then up the line from Rybakina, forced into a defensive forehand is Sabalenka, and then she gets, she just tried again, pushing to the baseline, Sabalenka, and she kicks the ball away in angst because she went a foot long again. 2 break points for Elena Rybakina to start off this second set.
I take my hat off to Rybakina there. She's been doing so well in these rallies. Past matches, she's been a little bit loose from the ground strokes. Has been able to win too many long rallies, but tonight, this stage of this match, she's really dominated.
Got to stand firm here. Sabalenka facing break point, serves right at the body of Rybakina, who does well to get it back into play, and then just touching maybe skipping the tape on the way through there, put away by Sabalenka cross court, saves one.
Sabalenka hasn't really been able to use her big forehand as much tonight. A lot of the play being dictated to the backhand corner.
Just clip the top of the net.
Yeah,
there.
just rolled over.
High risk stuff. Rightio, still break point here as Sabalenka serves down the middle. Rybakina just goes with the forehand. So does Sabalenka. Puts a bit more into it. Sabalenka looking for the depth, not finding it. Back cross court from Rybakina, who backpedals to play an awkward forehand and pulls it out. And Sabalenka saves them both. Just.
Gutsy play from Sabalenka. That ball was very, very deep. Almost skidded off the line, which forced the error from the racket of Rybakina. We're back to juice. That's good fighting.
At juice then, Sabalenka down the far end, serves heavily and hits a spot there. Rybakina can only put the forehand into the net.
And a good sign from Sabalenka. Big pressure moment. Backs it up with a big serve out wide. So saving those break points, she finds herself in a situation. She gets her first game point.
Down the far end, she's ready. Serves. Oh, it was so close to an ace.
I'd love it if Sabalenka wins this point and you hear that big roar.
It might be coming. The Seagulls are taking part as well. Sabalenka serves. Backhand from Rybakina. She really lent into that good depth from Sabalenka. Well defended by Rybakina. Rybakina then makes the forehand, going back centrally in the court, but that's brilliant from Sabalenka. Deep down into the forehand corner of Rybakina, and she could not deal with that. And facing a couple of break points, Aryna Sabalenka does hold firm and holds in the opening game of the second set.
And Sabalenka talking to the central chair umpire. Not sure what she's... Oh, she just wants another towel. That's okay. And it wants a white towel, so that's okay.
Quite reasonable. Nothing wrong with a white towel.
And good play from Sabalenka there. I like that last forehand. She got a little bit more width on that forehand cross court.
Yep, and that was a high-pressure situation, and she's been a little edgy tonight, but to serve your way out of that...
that gives you a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
That's where I'd like, just from an emotional standpoint, for her to be really able to let her roar out, get the crowd on her side.
Right, this critical start to the second set. Now it's going to be Elena Rybakina to serve here. Mark Hilawati, Kate Kearns and Steve Pearce with you for the women's singles final on AO Radio as we go through to a conclusion here over, well, how long is it going to take? We just don't know. Much of that depends on the woman who's right in front of us here, Aryna Sabalenka. Can she get some of her best tennis to Rod Laver Arena tonight? Rybakina serves onto the backhand of Sabalenka, who really leans into that. Well defended by Rybakina, who gets a couple of backhands. It lands short, though. Sabalenka can unload, chooses not to, though, and has to backpedal to the baseline. Then the drop shot from Rybakina is a superb one.
So maybe a little tactical error there from Sabalenka. She had a slow forehand and she went back to the stronger wing of Rybakina. Maybe she thought that Rybakina would take off to the other side, but she had some cross court, and that's where I reckon she's got to expose the movement side. So go there anyhow. Make your opponent run for that shot.
Yeah. She got the short ball there, but she just did not take command of the rally.
Fair drop shot, though.
It was, wasn't it? 15 love, serving down the middle. Rybakina just misses that one down the tee. Open Ruth, cloudy evening, bit cool in Melbourne. Serve here, lands onto the backhand of Sabalenka and then switching onto the forehand. Sabalenka pulls the trigger. Cross court, nicely done with the forehand. It was a clean winner.
And I like that from Sabalenka. She's got to just get that little bit of width on that ground stroke. Can't get any wider. That was flush on the single sideline.
Yeah.
She's playing with fire there, but your opponent's forcing you to do that. So great courage, great execution. Yeah.
Well, if you can hit the lines, use them. It's part of the court.
Yeah, exactly
right.
Should be bonus points for hitting the line.
Yeah, you should get double, shouldn't you? 15 all, Rybakina. Serving down the middle, backhand from Sabalenka into that same deep in the forehand corner for Sabalenka. A couple of defensive shots here. Rybakina has not put her away. Then forced into playing a normal backhand and attacked by Sabalenka viciously. Cross court, too much for Elena Rybakina.
Well, that shows me a little bit of the lack of confidence at net from Rybakina. She had a chance to take the ball out of the air. She let it bounce. Oh, big moment.
So at 15:30, Elena Rybakina here, and love one serving here out wide. Sabalenka did well to get the backhand racket on it, but could only find the nets. 30 all. Holding firm herself, Rybakina. Sabalenka had to save a couple of break points in the opening game, and then Elena Rybakina finding herself in a pressure situation. There's only pressure from here on in.
Oh, there's only a big title to win from here on in.
Yeah. 30 all. Rybakina serves, looking for the ace down the middle, but it was too long. So it'll be a second ball. Sabalenka with legs spread wide, ready to receive this, but she can only find the net with the backhand.
Just caught that second serve a little bit too far away from the body and a little high. Dragged it down into the net. So she's been doing a pretty good job staying back on those second serves. Maybe it's the time to now put a little physical pressure, get up on the court, try to take that ball a little bit earlier.
She's going to try and impose herself on this final. 40-30 for Rybakina for a 1-all situation. But it's not going to be yet, because there's the forehand, just using the pace of that serve and redirecting it into the open court. Nicely done.
Yeah, and Sabalenka does a really good job with that forehand. Really abbreviated preparation that allows her to take the ball sooner. Racket's not moving and travelling as far, but a chance for a nice clean contact. Yeah, a bit of pressure on the server here at deuce.
Rybakina serves. First ball's no good.
Sabalenka behind the baseline. Whoa. Get in, young lady.
Rybakina here serving again. There's the backhand aggressively from Sabalenka, really low over the net from Rybakina on a couple of ground strokes. A bit more loop on this, but it's a mishit from Sabalenka, and she's pulled it wide into the tram lines.
And that's the advantage of taking a ground stroke up the middle of the court. You eliminate angles from your opponent. Sabalenka tried to generate some angle and able to control the ball, went well long.
So game point here for Elena Rybakina. again for one game all in the second set. Can she deliver on this occasion? She serves out wide heavily and nicely done. Just a backhand, 4 bounces into the net for Sabalenka. And Rybakina just holding off what was a potentially tricky situation there. One game all in the second set.
Really weathered the storm right there. And that's a good sign from Rybakina. There was a little bit of a pressured moment, but she was able to respond. And now it's up to Sabalenka, who kind of feel like her game is a little bit below where she needs to be.
Yep.
She's got to lift.
Can she lift here? She serves here. Rybakina just goes with the easy forehand. Up the line, the change of direction from Sabalenka is into the net. That's not the start she wanted in this service game, having had to deal with a couple of break points in her opening service game and another double fault. She's served 5 for the match so far already.
And that first point is vital. All of a sudden, love 15 doesn't feel anywhere near as good. And that was a makeable forehand. They took the top of the tape of the net.
Sabalenka ready, serves. Forehand from Rybakina, lands this in. Another forehand from Sabalenka. Cross court goes Rybakina on the run. Sabalenka makes this forehand, and it had enough on it to force the error from Rybakina.
Wow, it needed to have that pace because she was well outside the single sideline when she hit that one down the line. Rybakina was able to control it. She had a lot of cross court to get that ball into play. That would have been a stone cold winner. So a bit of a risky move there from Sabalenka. Paid off, 15 all.
Belarusian is ready and serves. And it's onto the forehand of Rybakina, who slaps it into the net. That's good news for Aryna and her fans. 30-15.
All right, Sabalenka, big moment here, 30-15. She needs another big first serve.
Sabalenka serves, taking Rybakina out wide, does well with the backhand, and on the run she'll make this forehand, land it pretty deep. Jumping into a forehand is Sabalenka, but she's overhit it. Looking for that baseline again. She knows she's got to get good depth on these ground strokes, but she's just pushing maybe an ounce too much.
Yeah, and that's the pressure from Rybakina there. She's been hanging in these longer rallies.
30 all, 1 all, second set. First set, Rybakina. Sabalenka to serve right in front of us here. Big moment here as she serves onto the forehand. Again, Rybakina makes the return. Can't make the second ball, though. Backhand into the net. And she was there for it.
That's some pace there from Sabalenka and depth.
So 40-30 and a point here for a 2-1 lead on serve in the second set for Sabalenka. Sets herself and serves onto the forehand of Rybakina. It'll be, won't be a backhand from Rybakina because that's way overhit, mishit from Sabalenka, blasting it beyond the baseline again. Juice.
She's lost the range on that forehand side. The backhand, she's hitting it on a dime, but unfortunately, normally what the weapon is, that forehand, just getting a little out of control.
Need some deep breaths here. Juice. Aryna Sabalenka. Serves down the middle for the ace. Just clipping the outside of the line, but it'll do. Good serving.
Yeah, that's a quality response once again. Under pressure, under immense pressure. Now she's given herself game point.
It's pressure just walking out there, let alone be in the set down. Anyway.
What she wouldn't give for another ace.
Sabalenka serving. Goes for the ace. Delivers the ace. And she's making hard work of it, but she is hanging on here, Aryna Sabalenka. 2 aces to close out that game, and she leads on serve by 2 games to 1. Elena Rybakina by a set to love. I think we're going to have are we having a changeover? We are having a changeover.
This is taking my seat, so she gets the really nitty-gritty part of the match right now.
So
enjoy.
Does.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks, lovely sharing the commentary box with you. Mark Helawati is exiting, and Jill Krabus will be coming in alongside me for the remainder of this contest. But it does give us a chance to check in with Kate.
Thanks, Steve. Well, I've got Steve, who's listening from a chilly minus 17 degrees Celsius in Minneapolis in the US.
That is chilly.
That's freezing.
It's actually below freezing. Sorry, I couldn't resist
Steve.
it.
You couldn't help yourself. Love the commentary every year from Melbourne. Does anyone else miss the drama of when players challenge the line calls?
Yes, I think people do miss that. I saw something on Twitter about that the other day. Was it Chris Clary who wrote it? Oh, I might be doing him an injustice. Somebody wrote it. Does anyone miss the drama? I think a lot of people do and a lot of people don't. I actually don't. I don't miss the drama.
I don't mind it so much at all. Darren Wilson is listening to us from Alberta in Canada. It's 2:30 a.m. in the morning. My word. Okay.
Well, that shows some good staying power.
Yeah, so thanks for the great coverage over the last 2 weeks. Do you do a similar broadcast for the French Open? Getting his year sorted here.
We don't. Radio Roland Garros does, and there are many members of the team who are a part of that, and then there's Live at Wimbledon, and then there is US Open Radio. So you are never without coverage on the wireless of the major championships. So it's great having your company. Thanks for all your messages. Do keep those coming through, and we will check in as Elena Rybakina here serving at 1-2 in the second set. Ground strokes from behind the baseline here. There's a big forehand kicking up. Rybakina dealing with that quite well on the forehand, forced to run to make this forehand, but she's pushed that too long, taken outside the court by Aryna Sabalenka. Hello, Jill.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, very well. How are you? Look, some Tim Tams have survived.
I know. There's 3 left? Is that what it is?
3 left, and we've got...
They're all for you.
We've still got a few matches to go, you know. There's the men's dubs tonight. Yeah. They may not pull through that, and if they do, then we've got the ladies, the women's doubles tomorrow, and then the men's singles final.
I think they're going to be gone by the end of the night.
Okay. Rybakina's serve finding the net there and just sort of re-diverting and landing in the court. So it'll be another first serve here. Jill's prediction is those 3 Tim Tams will not last the night. We shall see. As Rybakina serves heavily back on the backhand from Sabalenka, then switching onto the forehand, cross-court, up the line goes Rybakina, defensively from Sabalenka, that's not going to make the nets. Good stuff there from Elena Rybakina.
How good is the quality of this match, Ben? Just such power hitting, as we expected from both players, but really quick, not many long points, which I wasn't expecting that either. It's been such a good battle.
It really has. Just some edgy moments for Aryna Sabalenka in that first set. Those double faults do sort of make you feel a bit uncomfortable, don't they? Serving here is Rybakina, and she gets exactly the response she wanted from Sabalenka, just pushing too long beyond the baseline. We've seen quite a few of those ground strokes from Sabalenka, just a foot out.
Just missing, I know. She can see she's trying to get some more rotation on the ball, but you don't want that ball sitting up for Rybakina to attack either. I mean, that's where she wants it, right there in her strike zone.
30-15.
Oh, it's a good shot. It was out.
It was a fault called a fault. It was a good shot.
It was a good shot.
From Sabalenka. It'll count for nothing because it's going to be a second serve. Rybakina serves nothing on this. Sabalenka doesn't really attack it because it kicked up quite high. Now low over the net with the backhand, switching onto the forehand. Sabalenka goes heavily. Covered off by Rybakina. Oh, that's too good in the opposite corner, isn't it? Sabalenka at the net puts away the easy overhead. Rybakina did well to get it back in play, but it was an easy put away for Sabalenka. Good aggressive play.
Well, she hasn't been to the net that much in this match. She hasn't had many opportunities, but it's great to see as soon as she saw Rybakina on the defense, on the stretch, on that backhand, immediately came forward. Love that move. Good awareness from Sabalenka.
Sure was. 30 all then. No service game's been easy in this second set. Not many of them were in the first, to be fair. Serving it down the middle, it's just a fault. Just long from Rybakina. Second serve. Again, landing this in. There's a big attacking backhand from Sabalenka. That time she found the depth that she wanted. Very near the baseline. Dumped into the net by Rybakina. Break point.
That was an excellent return from Sabalenka, and it went into the strength of Rybakina as well, that backhand side. But it was too good, that depth and that pace on that return.
Okay. Is this the moment for Aryna Sabalenka? She looks energized, engaged and ready as Rybakina serves out wide, delivers the ace, and just a mini fist pump just to show how much she enjoyed that. What about an eighth of the ball taking the line, skidding away out wide. Cool as you like.
I mean, that's just too good. You feel like you finally have a breakpoint opportunity against someone that has such a huge serve, and then immediately just wiped out. Rybakina so accurate on that serve.
At deuce, Rybakina serves. The forehand from Sabalenka again gets good depth on that. Picked up on a couple of forehands here by Rybakina. Now stepping inside the court, Sabalenka can unload with the backhand. Then on the forehand, dug out by Rybakina. Opposite corner, Rybakina got there at the forehand, but again found the net. and again it's break point, and the pressure just ratcheting up here on Elena Rybakina.
That's just really good ball striking from Sabalenka. There were a couple that I actually thought were going out. That's how deep she was hitting her ground strokes, and so it was so difficult for Rybakina to change that point around.
Just seeing an image of someone in the crowd who looked shocked and stunned at the precision and quality of what she's seeing. She's not alone. It's like us in the commentary box here. Rybakina serving here, facing break point. This time she cannot deliver the ace to save it, so we're going to get a second serve. Sabalenka with a break point as she waits to receive this, goes with the backhand right back at Rybakina, who pushes a forehand well long beyond the baseline, and Aryna Sabalenka gets her nose in front in the second set, has the break of serve and leads by 3-1. First set to Elena Rybakina.
There were a few times that Sabalenka had that second serve where she was going to attack, and she's missed a couple, but you got to give her credit for still going after those shots, and that time it paid off. She went right down the center of the court. Great spot from Sabalenka.
So down the far end now, Sabalenka trying to consolidate the break of serve. Can she do it? Well, that's a good way to start. Taking Rybakina out wide with the forehand. The 1-2 punch, way too good. Sabalenka's back at the baseline to serve here again. We've played 1 hour on Rod Laver Arena as Sabalenka tries to consolidate the break of serve. Forehand from Rybakina was pretty good. On the run, she finds a lovely angle on the backhand cross court. Way too good for Aryna, who tried to slice but found the bottom of the net.
Oh, it was so good. Such a good angle from Rybakina. She hits that backhand so flat, barely clears the net, but the accuracy and the precision of that backhand is just so good.
15 all. Serving is Sabalenka, heavily and deep in the box. Rybakina does well with the backhand. Here's another backhand. Again, cross-court, very near the line. Dug out by Sabalenka. Opposite corner, opens up the line for Sabalenka to just miss with the forehand down the line. Not by much, but it was out.
Yeah, it was the right one to go for because Rybakina was looking to cover the forehand part of the court at the volley. So Sabalenka trying to back for her to go behind her, but just missed.
15-30 then, trying to consolidate the break. Aryna just taking a couple of minutes to set herself here. Big moment. Serves into the net. So she's going to heap the pressure on her second serve here. Rybakina's on top of the baseline to receive. Sabalenka's ready. Serves. Lands it in. Big forehand from Rybakina. Slice from Sabalenka. Oh, it was so low over the net and kept so low that Rybakina couldn't find the elevation. Tried to slice a forehand, found the net.
It just looked for a moment like she changed her mind. I think she was about to hit with topspin on that forehand, then went to the slice because the ball ended up bouncing a lot lower than she expected. Just couldn't adjust quickly enough.
Funny old point. 30 all. Sabalenka ready and serves right at the body, which Rybakina gets out of the way of, but just left herself stranded after bunting the forehand back. Sabalenka pummeling away the winner. 40-30.
She's good at moving up to that ball. Sabalenka, right after her serve, she gets up there so quickly, takes the ball right at waist height.
To consolidate the break of serve, she serves. Rybakina gets the forehand back in play, and a horrid mishit. Hooked well wide of the court on the forehand, shaking her head. Aryna Sabalenka back to juice.
Falling backwards on that, Sabalenka. I think she thought about that shot too much, and she wants to target that forehand of Rybakina. That was an opportunity, just completely misjudged that ball.
So back to juice we go. Sabalenka's ready. Serves right again at the body of Rybakina, but it's a full. Daphne Akhurst Memorial Cup is just to the right of Elena Rybakina, just in case anyone forgets what we're playing for. Seems unlikely, though. Serving here. Oh, it's into the net from Aryna Sabalenka, and she does an awkward kind of hop come dance type of thing, trying to just kick this out, and Everyone knows, I mean, she knows everyone watching knows that she has double fault problems. Everybody in her camp knows. She knows. It's just always there. Break point then for Elena Rybakina to get back on serve in this second set. That's wide from Sabalenka on the first ball. Really is edging in to receive this second serve. Rybakina trying to heap some pressure on Sabalenka, who serves, lands this in the box, big backhand, but that's brilliant from Aryna Sabalenka, just goes low down to redirect the backhand up the line.
That was exceptional from Sabalenka. It was a huge aggressive return from Rybakina. Landed a little bit too short, so that pace did not bother Sabalenka. Redirected that really well.
Yeah, that was the big problem, wasn't it? Just landed way too short.
If it was deeper, Sabalenka would have been in trouble, because she almost looked like she got late on that last one, but was able to time it because it was shorter.
Deuce and 3-1 in the second set as Sabalenka serves that wide forehand from Rybakina. Is in the court. Oh, the backhand's not, though, from Rybakina. She pulled that horribly wide of the tram lines. And it'll be a game point for Aryna Sabalenka.
Yeah, I think Rybakina was expecting it to be a little bit further away from her. She ended up running into that backhand, so lost control.
5 minutes for this game. It's the 5th of the second set. Aryna Sabalenka with a game point. Serves. Just catching the net cord, so it'll still be a first serve. She doesn't look full of energy on the down the far end. It's a cool night, though. I think it's just her way of keeping
she's trying
herself
to stay
calm.
focused.
Stay calm, stay focused. Serves heavily. Backhand cross court's really good from Rybakina, and she leans into a forehand. Sabalenka covers it off with her own forehand. Here's another one, forcing Rybakina back. She hits Rybakina back. She hits the off forehand up the line. It's too good for Sabalenka.
That was great movement with her footwork from Rybakina. Just, you could see her just taking extra time. She looked like she had so much time on that forehand. And those last few, actually, just really good quick steps.
For the third time in this game, it's deuce. Sabalenka is ready and serves out wide, sliced forehand from Rybakina, opposite corner. She was already on the run, puts up the defensive backhand lob. Sabalenka lets it bounce, goes the big smash, hits it perfectly, skidding away. Beautiful winner from Sabalenka from deep in the court.
That's an excellent overhead at such a crucial time in this match at deuce. Could have been a little bit nervy. She was well behind the baseline to hit that overhead, but was smart not to hit too much power. Got more spin on that overhead just for a little extra safety.
Game point again for a 4-1 lead in the second set. It's a seesawing battle, just this game alone. Sabalenka serves. Says the ace. You heard it from Aryna before I could open my mouth. She knew it was an ace straight away. And she holds off the challenge of Elena Rybakina and critically holds serve after breaking and leads by 4-1 in the second set. First set to Rybakina.
That's the outburst you were waiting for, right?
Yeah, it was.
That's what we're used to seeing, but you can see Sabalenka trying to continue to take those deep breaths, stay calm. She's done a great job here because she was in that first set. Of course, it just came down to a couple points here and there. Rybakina started off this match exceptionally well. I was watching from upstairs way high at Rod Laver Arena. It was just amazing watching the power and the pace. But, I mean, huge credit to Sabalenka to not get down on herself. She really regrouped well.
No, she did a fantastic job there. That was a really tough moment. Kate, what do we got?
Steve, well, actually, I've got one here for Jill. Jill, it's Mark from Sydney, and he wants to know whether or not any of your commentator mates managed to find a hokey pokey with a peanut slab or a block for you today?
I found it. I got it at the grocery store this morning. There was one left.
Oh, it was meant to be.
And I pushed all the other customers out of the way. And I said, it's mine, and I had it. And it's so good. I actually left the rest of the bar upstairs for you guys.
You have, and I've been into it.
You have?
Yes, I have.
It's so good, isn't it?
It's not bad. It's
I'm so happy he wrote back in because I really wanted to say that I did get the last one on the shelf. They're obviously very popular.
Well, that is a vote of confidence right there. Oh. Jill, you've fulfilled all your duties. You can leave Australia happy. I don't think there's anything outstanding. I mean, apart from a couple of trophies, but anyway, we'll work those out over the next hour and day or so. That's good serving from Elena Rybakina down the middle for a clean ace to start this off. Lovely having your company, whether you're listening to us through 99.7 FM locally or the Vision Australia radio network, ESPN, Sirius, tune in, or stations of the SEN network, if you're taking any of those. However you're along for the ride tonight, lovely having your company here as Elena Rybakina serves and is forced to dig this out deep on her backhand side, but that's too good from Sabalenka. Found a really acute angle on the backhand cross court for 15 all.
I love that option from Sabalenka. That's where I feel like she's really improved, is not always having to go hard every single time. When she has time, she's consistently throwing in some short angles, just catching Rybakina by surprise.
Rybakina finding the nets. Jill Krabus, Kate Kearns and Steve Pearce with you for the women's singles final tonight on AO Radio, live from Melbourne, as Rybakina serves and really leaning into a backhand here, and the forehand just falling backwards a bit there, Sabalenka, but she puts a bit more into that backhand, defended with the slice from Rybakina, but she was stranded, advancing on the net. Sabalenka pummels it away.
She's looking very poised right now, Sabalenka, even after that shot, just fist pumping to herself, really trying to stay within herself out there through each point.
Well, she got the short ball she wanted, and she'd love the double break here. That would really make her a bit more comfortable in this second set. Rybakina will have something to say about that, though. 15-30, 1-4. Serves. Too long. Second serve. Landing deep in the box. Cross court from Sabalenka. Gets the mistake she wanted from Rybakina, who surprisingly pushed a backhand a long way beyond the baseline. And there's two more break points here for Aryna Sabalenka. This match is certainly just a change in momentum over the last 15 or 20 minutes or so since Sabalenka broke through and consolidated. And now, two more break points for a 5-1 lead. Serving here, Rybakina. That's too good for Sabalenka. Got the backhand racket on it down the middle, but only back towards the umpire's chair.
Yeah, for Rybakina now it's just about working her way back, taking her time between these serves, not trying to rush herself, because that momentum has shifted. So that was good that she just took her time before that particular serve.
30-40 still break point here for Sabalenka. Oh, that forehand, does it just land? It just lands out. There's a strange sort of slight mishit, Jill, going down the line, looping and long.
I mean, that was a good serve. Again, good accuracy. Yeah, it's amazing how quickly you can tend to go without realizing it, and Rybakina is doing a great job. She has 15 more seconds here, so it's good that she's taking these few extra seconds.
At deuce, Rybakina serving, looking for the tee, just missing it though, long. Sabalenka was there, but just let it sail past her racket. Now she's got 1 foot just inside the baseline to receive. Goes onto the forehand. Well defended by Rybakina. She can inject her own forehand into it here. The player's going toe-to-toe behind the baseline, then up the line goes Sabalenka. Cross court now. The pair's change of direction was really good from Rybakina, and it caught Sabalenka off guard. She tried to slice the forehand, but it was long.
That was just too good from Rybakina. Really good rallying, good quality hitting from both. But Rybakina, that center ball, she was off balance. It almost looked like, I think that's why Sabalenka got surprised with the fact that she was able to get that so far outside the court, because she looked like she was in trouble. But it was just a great shot from Rybakina.
So game point here for 2-4 for Elena Rybakina. Serves down the middle. Sabalenka with the first forehand. Here's another one going up the line. Rybakina defensively with the backhand. Short ball should be put away by Sabalenka. She gave Rybakina one more chance, but she couldn't make it up the line.
Rybakina is starting to show a couple signs of frustration. There have been a couple moments where she looked like she's going to bang her racket on the ground. She does stop herself. I mean, most of the time, well, all the time, she looks calm. But so that's been surprising, where just a few times she's looked a little flustered.
Yep, she looks a bit frustrated there. At deuce. Rybakina serves that just clipped the tape on the way through. Still a first serve, though. Looking to get this set back to 2-4 and hang in here. She's already saved a couple of break points in this game. Rybakina serves, backhand from Sabalenka was good, right down the middle of the court. Then she does the same with the forehand. Rybakina, no real angle on this until Sabalenka hits the off backhand as sweetly as you like, right near the sideline, and Rybakina just had to admire it. Break point number 3.
Well, that was really great from Sabalenka because Rybakina had taken a little pace off that last forehand. It surprised me, actually. I thought she was going to flatten that one out, but just lifted it up, and Sabalenka took advantage of it.
So facing break point here, Rybakina's got to set herself. Serves, just catching the net cord on the way through again. Still be a first serve. It's right on 9 o'clock in the evening in Melbourne. Rod Laver Arena is packed to the rafters for this one, the women's final, as you'd expect. Rybakina serving. That one's a fault. Too long. Going for the Sabalenka backhand. Sabalenka now well inside the baseline for this second ball here, and really jumps at this backhand, but again, just maybe a bit too enthusiastic, trying to impose herself a bit too much, and it goes long.
But that was right. I mean, she should have gone after that. I think she was just out of her strike zone slightly. Had a good kick. Rybakina's serve, it bounced pretty high, higher than Sabalenka thought it was going to be, but she should get aggressive on that one.
So deuce for the third time now in this 6th game. Rybakina serves out wide. That's good serving. And it gets her a game point here for 2-4. Stefano Vukov looking a bit nonplussed with proceedings.
He looks a little stressed to me, I think. Most of the time he looks calm, but he does look a little stressed today. I would be stressed.
It's a stressful situation here as Rybakina serves. It's just a fault. She's got the game point here. She has to really put this away. Just got to make a stand. Second serve. Sabalenka just took that reasonably early and didn't seemingly have to do much with it. Rybakina was just rooted to the spot. And it wasn't a heavy ground stroke from Sabalenka, but it was a winner.
Well, it's interesting because Rybakina just hit that second serve and immediately covered the cross court right away. I mean, expecting that cross from Sabalenka. It was a good change-up from Sabalenka. Almost looked like she wasn't happy with the serve.
Well, she'll be happier with that serve because it was heavy down the middle. Sabalenka can only just lurch out to get a backhand racket on it. And it'll be another game point for Elena Rybakina as she's trying to get her feet moving, get herself motivated for this one and get this game closed out. Dressed in the black singlet and multicoloured skirt, Elena Rybakina is ready and serves into the nets. Sabalenka practices the shot that she would have played. And it'll be a second serve here. Rybakina, there's that shot from Sabalenka, but that wasn't the one she practiced. She's pulled that a long way wide of its intended target. And Rybakina, not without a fight there, having to save 3 break points, holds. And Sabalenka to serve next at 4-2.
And she'll be a little bit relieved she got out of that service game. Rybakina,
it's a bit of a battle, isn't it?
It was a battle, yeah. And I mean, who knows? Sometimes that can have an impact as the second set goes on, but Rybakina, she trusts her serve so much, obviously has been exceptional these entire 2 weeks with that serve.
Yep. And to pop in the back of her mind that she is the Wimbledon champion as well. Not that the woman who's about to serve could have faced her at Wimbledon, as she wasn't permitted to play last year. She wasn't in the field, but a lot of people were. And Rybakina won it. All right, Sabalenka to serve here at 4-2. Serves onto the forehand of Rybakina, who just opens up to hit a beautiful forehand right in the wheelhouse, right near the baseline.
I think Sabalenka was trying to go more to the body, but that one, Rybakina barely had to take a step away from that ball.
Love 15, not for the first time on a Sabalenka service game. Now the ball toss has gone wrong. So she'll reset. Sabalenka, ready now. Serves. That's beautifully done out wide. Short in the court and kicking away. 0 chance for Elena Rybakina to get a racket on that. 184 out wide. Jill's nodding. She's always splendid for radio. I feel like I should interpret that for everyone. Sabalenka serves here down the middle. Rybakina's backhand sits up for Sabalenka to unload, and she put enough weight into that the Rybakina made the mistake on the forehand from the back of the court.
I was nodding because I was
30-15.
impressed. There were no words for the placement of this.
No words on the radio tonight. Sabalenka here serves a fault. It's been a tightly contested set. We've only had 6 games. We've been going a while in this second set. 1 hour and 20 in total for the match as Sabalenka serves onto the backhand of Rybakina, and somehow she dug that out right in the corner, and then Rybakina just pushing too long beyond the baseline. Wow.
That was great. I mean, I think Sabalenka was surprised she actually made that shot. She almost stopped moving after she defended against the return.
40-15. Picked it up on the half volley right off the baseline. Serves here right at the body of Rybakina, and she gets the short ball, but then she hits it right back at Rybakina. She's going to be able to put this away, surely, yes. Puts it into row D, I think that was, when it bounced up. And eventually, Aryna Sabalenka does hold serve. But again, a bit of a fight and a couple of strange points in there. But nevertheless, Aryna Sabalenka is a game away from forcing a deciding set here on God Laver Arena.
I wanted to go to a third set.
I think we should have a third set, and I think everyone in here agrees.
Yeah.
And hopefully everyone right around the world agrees. Kate?
Oh, I think they do agree. Well, Peter from Brooklyn in New York says it's 34 degrees Fahrenheit, so we understand that's freezing.
Yep.
Can't help but wondering what era Steve is from when he says you can hear us on the wireless. Is that a World War II reference? I guess my Wi-Fi network is wireless, so it still fits.
I don't know. We used to call it the wireless. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm in my early 50s, shall I say? I don't think that's too old.
Do you still have a wireless?
You look like you're in your mid-30s.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But that's not, I mean, that doesn't actually affect your exact age. So.
It can, maybe. Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe I just worked with old-fashioned people when I used to work in radio full-time. Everyone used to call it the wireless. I don't know if I did growing up. I can't remember now.
The wireless.
The wireless.
I don't think I've ever used that.
Have you never? You should start using that. One more, Kate. Very quick one.
Yep. Damien's listening to us from Greece. Thanks for the very entertaining coverage. Work on Monday is going to be less enjoyable without your giggles mixed in with point-by-point calling. It's a sunny 14 degrees here.
Wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. Monday is going to be a lot less fun. Is that a phone ringing that put Elena off there? That's what I heard. Anyway, all right, so serving to stay in this second set. Elena Rybakina at 2-5. Sabalenka is bouncing around on the baseline, wants to get this done and serve first in the final set. That's what she's thinking. Rybakina serves, and Sabalenka goes at this with the backhand. It kicked up pretty high, though, so she didn't get much on it. Leaning back, the inside-out forehand from Rybakina. Then more regulation, low backhands over the net from both players here. It's not much angle being generated to this point. Low backhands, and then the change of direction from Rybakina. Just out. The off backhand, it was just out. An inch. I'm calling that an inch, Jill.
Yeah, I think it was probably an inch. We're going to get a close-up right. Oh, more than an inch.
It's 2.
But it was close. 2
inches.
1.5.
1.5. Rounded up to 2. Fair enough. Anyway, it was close from where we were watching, and it wasn't a long way out. But nevertheless, it was out, and Russell Crowe, the actor who's in the crowd, agrees with our sentiment that it was close. Good return here from Sabalenka on the forehand, then forced to slice the backhand. Sabalenka and only finds the net. 15-all.
It was a short reply from Sabalenka. So Rybakina, good transition forward, just a little bit, cutting that angle off on the forehand, giving Sabalenka less time.
Rybakina here. Serves. Just clipping the net cord on its way through, as you would have heard. Seagulls squawk their appreciation for the contest. And Rybakina serves again. Backhand, really good from Sabalenka. Picked up on the half volley by Rybakina, but she couldn't control it.
That came back fast from Sabalenka. Almost looked like she could read where Rybakina was going to serve that. She was all over that return.
You may have noticed this, Jill, but Sabalenka is 2 points from the set right here.
I did notice
and
that.
I thought you would have done. And levelling this women's final up at 1 set all. It's not done yet, though, but she's getting closer, getting closer. The first serve too wide from Rybakina. Second serve here. Rybakina, big forehand, opened up. Sabalenka absolutely pelted that across the court. Beautiful winner. And here's some set points for the Belarusian.
That's very good. It's just being committed to that return, just putting that pressure on Rybakina. She's throwing in a lot of second serves.
Well, first serves are down to 53% in. That's not high enough here. She's serving here. An ace, right on cue. She finds the ace. My word, she needed that. She's got to get this serve working again, if not in this set, in the third set, which we're very close to. Still a set point for Aryna Sabalenka for 1 set all to take us the distance. Not sure what the
I think Sabalenka
issue
is
there
just asking for a towel because there might be some sweat that fell on the court, so just wants it.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a little bit of a drying session for one of the ball kids who comes on, quickly dries and then legs it off stage right. Rybakina sets herself again. Still set point here for Sabalenka. Rybakina serves, that caught the tape heavily and came back on her side. So it'll be a second serve. It's just not firing on the serve at the moment. Rybakina lands this one though. Sabalenka cross court, kicks up high. Oh, that's brilliant though from Elena Rybakina from well outside the doubles alley. She found a beautiful backhand winner deep near the baseline.
She's not going to miss that one that much. Rybakina, that's one of her best shots, that backhand down the line. Sabalenka just mishitting that return, and that's why it just sat up there for Rybakina.
Nods from her box as Rybakina finds the bottom of the net with this serve. That was a horror. That was one of mine. Second serve here. Rybakina lands this backhand from Sabalenka's really good, just defensively up from Rybakina. Lands in, forehand from the back of the court, Sabalenka. Backhand covered off by Rybakina. It's coming at such pace from Sabalenka, but Rybakina's holding firm. Now she gets the shorter ball and attacks it with the backhand. Sabalenka really loving it. Brilliant pick-up from Rybakina. That's the point of the match.
It's unbelievable hands from Rybakina. Can't hear anything right now. It's so loud.
It is loud, isn't it?
I mean, that was just a great pickup. That was ridiculous hands. That's such a big moment from Rybakina. But she's shown that in so many of her matches, how well she's been able to handle the volley, that good touch.
Gets herself a game point here to force Sabalenka to serve it out. Serve, Sabalenka good with the forehand response, and then rocking back plays a good backhand of her own. Now the pair exchange blows from behind the baseline until Rybakina puts a forehand into the net.
That's where Sabalenka needs to go when she has time on the ball. Try and move Rybakina to that forehand side. She's sometimes when she's inside the court, she's gone to the Rybakina backhand.
Service games are a big old fight at the moment for both players, but it's Sabalenka coming out on top in this set at the moment as Rybakina serves, this time to the forehand of Sabalenka. She wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah.
And she just dumped it into the net. Game point again for Elena.
It was a great change-up, more slice, a little off pace on that serve. You can see Sabalenka just really unexpected, not ready for that serve.
Serving here, Rybakina onto the backhand. Came back with such power from Sabalenka, then really low over the net with the forehand. Sliced from Rybakina, just trying to stay in this, and it just shows you the value of staying in it, because Sabalenka pushes beyond the baseline and Rybakina holds under immense pressure, but she holds to heap the pressure back on her opponent, Aryna Sabalenka, who now must serve this out to force a deciding set.
A bit different in this set, though. I mean, both players applying quite a bit of pressure on each other's serve. They're returning well, starting to pick up some small cues on the serve.
At 5-3 down the far end, Aryna Sabalenka serving for the set. A fault to start things off. Played 53 minutes for this second set, and we might be about to decide it. Maybe. Sabalenka serves, and Rybakina got there with the forehand, but in truth it was a long way out.
That was a great second serve. A little bit extra pace, good placement, went out wide, really had a lot of spin on that.
76% of first serves in, Aryna Sabalenka in this set. That's good. Serves here, right on cue, of course. That missed. 15 love, 5-3. Second set. Sabalenka then, ready, and serves deep in the box. Good backhand from Rybakina. Gets the shorter ball. She'll put this away and does on the forehand cross court.
Well, it was a great pickup from Sabalenka. It was a really great return from Rybakina. Couldn't do a ton with it because it just had that good depth and pace. Rybakina 99% of the time is going to go cross court with that forehand when she's inside the court.
15 all. Sabalenka serves into the net. Plenty of drama to come in this match, don't you get the sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Plenty of tension.
Which is kind of exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing it to you live here on AO Radio as Sabalenka serves. Forehand from Rybakina is just too long. And she looks frustrated. Her shoulders drop a bit. She knows that was an opportunity to put Sabalenka under pressure. But now Sabalenka, again, 2 points from the second set. 5-3, 30-15. Down the far end, Sabalenka serves. Backhand from Rybakina, again good. Drop shot from Sabalenka. And Rybakina just says, okay, no worries, I'll pop that away down the line. Thank you very much. That was too easy for her.
Yeah, I mean, Rybakina saw that coming. It wasn't as well as disguised as Sabalenka would have liked, and a lot of height on that drop shot. Rybakina had so much time.
Needs to get herself a new wig and moustache. She's got to get better disguise. 30 all. 5-3. Serving down the middle.
Nice.
That's better. No need for a disguise there. Just a huge serve of the utmost precision to earn herself a third set point. She mops her brow with the skirt. No need for the towel right now. It's set point for Aryna Sabalenka on her own serve. Sabalenka serves a fault just long. All is hush again. It's so quiet, isn't it, in between points?
Quiet, I know.
Some matches you can hardly hear yourself think in between points, or in between serves sometimes. This one, the crowd is just utterly entranced as Sabalenka serves an ace.
Wow.
Brilliantly. That's terrific stuff from Aryna Sabalenka, and she shows her mettle. It might be called a close call, but it was in, and we are going the distance in the women's singles final tonight.
I love that she's going after that second serve a bit more. I think that made a huge difference in a few of her service games, and she took that risk. That was awesome to see from Sabalenka.
Amazing stuff, Aryna Sabalenka, then and Elena Rybakina going all the way in this to decide who takes out the 2023 Australian Open crown. We'll have that final set for you in just a couple of minutes.
Brand new Australian Open merchandise collection. Our new range is bold, fun, and we have a style to suit the whole family. AO exclusive performance apparel is made only from recycled polyester and 100% organic cotton. Look your best on and off the court. Visit us at one of our AO shops or explore now at AustralianOpenShop.com.
Hit the high notes on the final 3 days of the Australian Open. Kia Arena transforms into a world-class music venue with an incredible lineup of local and international artists playing at the AO Finals Festival. Headliners include Vanessa Amorossi, Montaigne, Benny, Flight Facilities and Thelma Plum. Tickets are $34 per session, or fans with a ground pass or Rod Laver Arena ticket can upgrade to enter Kia Arena.
Put a spin
on your regular court date and come and try Padel at the Melbourne Park Tennis Club. Padel is an off-the-wall spin on squash and tennis. It's a fast-paced racket sport where the walls are part of the game. It's easy to pick up, so grab a few friends and head on down to the tennis club court. Quick and easy to learn, great for all ages and abilities.
Hi, I'm John Millman. You're listening to AO Radio.
We're in the final set of the women's singles final to decide who takes out this trophy this year for 2023. Elena Rybakina or Aryna Sabalenka. It was close to 50-50 as a call for most people before it started, and we're no closer to working this one out. 6-4 the first set, Rybakina. 6-3 the second set, Sabalenka. And here we go in the third. Jill Cravers, Kate Kearns and Steve Pearce with you on AO Radio as Rybakina leans into a forehand at the net and got the depth she wanted there, as Sabalenka's response on the forehand actually landed just behind the umpire. Nowhere near the court anyway. 15 all here. 15 love, sorry. For opening point of this final set. Wonderful having you company wherever you're listening to us right around the world on AO Radio. Good serve, good heavy serving here from Rybakina. Forehand into the net from Sabalenka. Jill, to make a big statement here for Elena Rybakina after that second set.
Yeah, definitely. And so far she's doing a great job. And you can see Sabalenka also still trying to take those deep breaths in between points just to keep herself calm.
Serving onto the forehand of Sabalenka again, moving inside the court. Rybakina, then she backpedals, plays a forehand up the line. Oh, Sabalenka just pulling that backhand. Had to make Rybakina play there, but pulled it wide into the tram lines, and this is exactly what the 22nd seed wanted. 40 love.
Yeah, it's a good reset from Rybakina because, as we mentioned, she was showing some of that frustration a couple times in that second set, but really looking really reset in this first game.
Rybakina serving just long. How much does that experience that she's got in within her of that Wimbledon title last year, how much does that count in this final set? I'd say a fair bit. Landing this onto the backhand of Sabalenka. That was good though from Sabalenka. Really good deep near the sideline, and got the mistake from the racket of Elena. 40-15.
I mean, this is just proving how important that depth is. And for Sabalenka, when that serve is coming to her backhand side, she can really take it anywhere. She's got great depth cross. We've seen her step up and take it down the line as well.
So 40-15. Rybakina serves, finds the net with the first serve. Second ball here. Rybakina serves, backhand from Sabalenka's right back at her. Returning the favour was Rybakina, but Sabalenka just opened up for the huge off forehand, and it was too good for Rybakina. 40-30.
And both of these women very good as with any short ball that they're getting, they recognize it very early and take the ball off the court. There's a great example there from Sabalenka using that forehand inside out.
So she must want to close this game out here. 40-30, just missing with the first serve again. Not getting enough first serves at the moment, Elena Rybakina. Second serve, Lances goes down the middle, and it kicked up high over the top of Aryna Sabalenka's racket. She just missed it, and it kicked one or the other anyway. It flew through for an ace, a kicking ace down the middle. Rybakina holds 1 love.
I think she thought that was maybe going long. She almost stopped mid-stroke in that Sabalenka and looked over at, she just looked over at her team a little bit confused. I think she definitely thought that ball was going out on the serve.
Kate, quick message.
Well, I'm glad that Beth got back in touch with us. She's not actually listening from England because I made that up.
Why not? Nothing wrong with a bit of theatre, Kate.
Oh, she's from New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, slightly closer to us here.
Okay, I saw the floodings in New Zealand. Oh, my goodness.
Well, apparently, she's all right. She's listening.
Good.
That's the main thing.
That is the main thing indeed. Rightio. Sabalenka ready down the far end. Serves an ace out wide to open up this second game of the final set. 1 love, Rybakina. We're on serve. Do keep those messages coming through. We'll touch base with Kate again at the next change of ends. We love hearing from you wherever you're listening to this final. Onto the forehand of Rybakina. This one's going to force Rybakina into a sliced defensive backhand. Sabalenka finding a smart angle. That was good.
That was very smart.
Yep. Just rolled her wrists over on that. It's called a close call. Landed on the line. .30 love. Sabalenka missing with the first serve. Wide of the mark down the tee. Both ball kids went for that. Nobody called. Our ball kid didn't get it. The other one did down the other end. Sabalenka serving right at the body of Rybakina, and she pulls that wide into the tramlines. Just couldn't get out of the way quickly enough. So, much like Rybakina, moves out to 40 love on her first service game. Can Sabalenka close this out to love?
Well, this would be good for both players just to get an easy first service game in this third set, just to settle any nerves. I think there might be a little bit, understandably, at the end.
Sabalenka serving. Rybakina with the forehand. She got onto this. That's an aggressive backhand from Sabalenka. Here's a big forehand, landing it deep. Rybakina covering off both attempted winners, though. And then as Sabalenka pulled the trigger up the line, she pulled it wide into the tram lines, 40-15.
I just swiped at that. Sabalenka felt like she changed her mind. It looked like she was going to maybe go cross at the last second. That's why she got slightly out of position.
She's replaying the shot and it doesn't look good. Okay, serving here out wide. That's a good return from Rybakina on the run. Can she make this? Oh, she so nearly did it. Clipped the tape. Cross court, came back on her side. And Sabalenka holds to 15. And it's one game all in the third set.
That would have been a tough shot. That was so close to going over to be an exceptional shot. It was good running from Rybakina. Great hustle to try and produce a shot on that. Just clipped the net but didn't go over.
There have been two breaks of serve each, as we see another image of Russell Crowe. 2 breaks of serve each. You just get the sense that a break of serve here is uber important in this particular contest. Serving here. The final set of the women's final as Rybakina serves. Forehand from Sabalenka is really heavy, dug out by Rybakina, but flew it long beyond the baseline. The first point goes to Sabalenka. Love 15.
I think for Rybakina, she's got to try hit quite a few of these second serves more into the body. Sabalenka's connecting really cleanly on both forehand and backhand right now. It's hard to know where to go when she's throwing in that second serve.
Rybakina then, ready, serves, just long. Second serve. This in, big backhand cross court from Sabalenka, returns the favour, does Rybakina, and then happy to let that one just go as it goes beyond the baseline from Sabalenka. Just a couple of rippled applause. I think everyone's too nervous to really know how to react at the moment. It's just tense out there. 1-1, 15-1. Serving out wide. That's good stuff from Rybakina. Hit her spot there. She needs more of those on her service games. Yeah. More of those. 30-15.
Excellent spot. Caught Sabalenka leaning towards the backhand. So good change up from Rybakina.
30-15. Rybakina serves onto the backhand of Sabalenka. That was very deep and tried to pick this up almost on a half volley. Did Rybakina, but only found the net. 30-all. She's back at the baseline to serve. Elena Rybakina does so, lands this on the forehand. It clips the tape heavily from Sabalenka, but resetting, Elena Rybakina did well, put away the backhand, the double-handed backhand. The short ball put it away cross court for the winner. 40-30.
Most players run around and hit a forehand on that, but that middle ball, Rybakina wants that backhand. She had plenty of time with that let court. So just difficult. Sabalenka had to guess.
Game point for a 2-1 lead in the final set for Rybakina. Serves forehand from Sabalenka, comes right back at her. She returns the favour, then goes with her own backhand, forcing Sabalenka back. Rybakina picking that up off a half volley. Then backhand cross court from Rybakina, very low over the net. The slice from Sabalenka, covered off by Rybakina. Into the net from Sabalenka on the forehand. Trying to go cross court. Rybakina holds and leads by 2-1 in the final set.
That was such a good shot from Rybakina. I like the idea from Sabalenka trying to change up the rhythm. She went for that slice. Had a lot of pace on that slice. I almost feel like that helped Rybakina be able to accelerate through that ball. But that was a pretty good idea. But great job from Rybakina.
Kate?
Elspeth says, ciao from a cloudy Italy. I'm listening to you guys and love these two ladies. I met Sabalenka in Rome last year and she's equal parts beautiful and cheerful. Steve, Kate and Jill, kudos to Rybakina. Do you think she's understanding the many hand signals that the coach keeps making throughout the match? I don't know if you guys are keeping an eye on what's happening there.
Yeah.
Prolific?
That's a great question. I'm thinking yes.
That was from Sigma, if I didn't mention Sigma.
That's an excellent question.
Stefano Vukov is the coach that we talk of.
I'm thinking she's understanding probably 99% of it, yes. I think they probably have that down to a T right now.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think so.
Otherwise, they should really thought about it before the match. You'd hope she is following it. You never 100% know. I'm sure Jill's right. Let's say 99%, Kate. Thanks for your messages. Do keep those coming in for however long we go here. And, of course, then right through the evening, because we've got the men's doubles finals coming up for you as well tonight. It's going to be a long night of tennis. I think some people have still got to find their seats. It's a bit more relaxed finding your seat these days. As long as you're not right behind the server or the receiver, they tend to let you come in almost at any time. That's a great return here from Rybakina. She's going to get the short ball. She'll put this away. Does. It was all about the return of serve.
It was an excellent return. I don't know how Sabalenka actually got a racket on that ball. That was such good placement, but did a good job of forcing Rybakina to hit another shot.
Okay, love 15. Sabalenka serving down this near end. President's box end. She serves down the middle, but it's just too long. Or our end, as we could call it. Commentary box end. Sabalenka's ready now, serves the second serve. Onto the backhand of Rybakina, who was well inside the baseline to receive that, tried to take it early but couldn't control it.
Almost too far inside. It got rushed on that backhand. Can understand, though, wanting to put that pressure on, trying to get the break.
15 all. Serving here to the backhand of Rybakina, but that was just too long from Elena Rybakina. 30-15 here, so Sabalenka's heavy serving, getting her out of a slightly awkward situation, aided by that mistake from Rybakina. It was only just out, a hair's breadth, you might say.
That was very close. I didn't realize it was that close.
The old quadruple. 30-15. 1-2. Sabalenka's ready to serve. Well, that would have been an absolutely perfect serve out wide, but it just kissed the net cord on the way through. A couple of deep breaths and she has to reset. Rybakina gets another chance here as Sabalenka serves, looking for the same spot, but this time she was wide and long. Did that ball just kick up behind the sponsor's sign? Did that cause the excitement? Couldn't quite see. Second serve here for Sabalenka. Sits up for Rybakina to have a bit of a go at it, but it was pretty short and Sabalenka just dismissed it. Cross court with the backhand. Just not enough on that from Rybakina.
Yeah, very short reply from Rybakina. Sabalenka did a good job of picking her spot, staying committed to that backhand.
40-15 here. Points for 2-all in the third set. Sabalenka serves to the backhand of Rybakina. Rybakina on the run, makes the forehand, forcing Sabalenka to really stretch there. But Sabalenka finds the ball that she wanted to, cross court. Backhand, good stuff. 2 games all.
Well, Dad didn't have a lot on it, that backhand, but she did a good job of flicking it with her left arm to get it past Rybakina at the net. Rybakina came charging forward, but just had enough height and angle, Sabalenka, to get it by Rybakina.
She was covering the line very much, really, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Rybakina. Sabalenka going cross court. Good enough. Frustrated, Elena Rybakina. Another chance to break, slips by. Not that it ever got to break point, but you know what I'm saying. 2 games all now. Rybakina ready to serve herself down the far end. Onto the forehand, goes back behind Sabalenka, and with pinpoint accuracy near the baseline, puts away the forehand, Rybakina.
God, such, again, right on the baseline. The precision from both of them has just been so good tonight.
We've had a couple of longer rallies, haven't we? But it's basically been
Very
a lot
few.
of 1-2 punching.
I know.
Yeah, it's what we expected.
Yeah.
Rybakina serves into the net. Three bounces, ready for the second serve, which she lands deep in the box. Into the opposite corner for Sabalenka is to slice on the forehand to stay in this point, and then back cross court with the forehand. Really well done by Elena Rybakina.
Yeah, because, I mean, it was so low. She really had to control that forehand and did a great job of just guiding it into the open court. Didn't try and overpower that shot.
Seeing images also of Sabalenka's coach, Anton Dubrov, who's looking a little bit edgy to reflect Aryna Sabalenka looking a little bit edgy. There's a lot of edginess. 30 love here as Rybakina serves a fault just long, going at the backhand of Sabalenka. Where does she go here? Ah, okay. That was probably choice D, I would think. That's not what you want. That's a double. That's her first for the match for Rybakina. Not a disastrous time to deliver it. Up against Sabalenka's 6 to this point. 2-all, 30-15, final set. Jill Krabers, Kate Kearns and Steve Pearce with you on AO Radio. Serving here heavily is Rybakina. On the run, does she make the forehand? No, that's out. That's out. Big fist pump from Aryna Sabalenka. She knows that she's earning herself half a chance here. 30-all, 2-all. You heard the come on Elena there. She needs something here. Rybakina serves out wide. It's just a fault. Just to go back to the second serve. That went to the forehand of Sabalenka. This time she goes at the backhand. And that's very low over the net from both players. Then the slice from Sabalenka. Big forehand forcing Sabalenka to go. Sabalenka to go up the line brilliantly.
Yeah.
Sabalenka earns her point there. Is this the moment for her in the final set?
Excellent. Good court coverage there after that slice. Went right down the center of the court with that slice and anticipated the cross from Rybakina. Covered that part of the court so well.
First break point of this final set. Rybakina to serve. Sabalenka just bunts this with a forehand on the run, but can't get it in the court. Not even close. Juice.
She tried to chip that one back, but just flew off her racket because the power on that serve from Rybakina.
At 191 kilometers. Okay, juice. Rybakina. So, that's going to earn another point. That just sort of kicked through onto Sabalenka's racket. She tried the slice backhand. Would have been a single-hander slice, and it just kind of went straight into the court.
Yeah, again, I think on some of these serves, Sabalenka's guessing, which you can understand because it's so tough to continue to battle against the pace of the serve from Rybakina.
Game point here for Rybakina onto the forehand of Sabalenka. Again, looking for too much depth there was Rybakina. Pushed that, 3-4 feet beyond the baseline with the forehand. Back to juice.
That was surprising miss from Rybakina. I missed it by so much. We haven't seen that many. We're discussing how close these shots have been. Not very little margin from both players.
Rybakina serving out wide. Sabalenka does well to get a forehand racket on this. Opposite corner with the backhand. That was absolutely delightful from Rybakina. She put that away with absolute precision.
Yeah, even when you're sprinting to the open court to try and cover that ball, that's just too good from Rybakina. Got Sabalenka way off the court with that serve.
So game point again for Rybakina. This is by quite a long way with her first serve, wide of the service box. Second serve. Backhand from Sabalenka lands short, picked up by Rybakina. On the run, Rybakina goes cross-court with a forehand up the line again. Sabalenka defensively up, lands this deep. Sabalenka unloads on a forehand again. Rybakina puts this up, lands it fairly deep. Sabalenka, huge forehand inside out, brilliant winner.
That was so good from Sabalenka. There's 3 forehands where she had so much time, and sometimes you wonder if it's too much time to think, but she just really had such a clear shot in her mind in that point.
Wow, so that was good hitting from Sabalenka, put under pressure. Good defensive work from Rybakina, just making her opponent really earn it, and she earned it. Some clutch moments for both players, but then also some edgy mistakes. It's a real potpourri this evening as Rybakina serves right at the body of Sabalenka. Back behind her, that was absolutely pinpoint from Rybakina, right near the sideline and the baseline on the backhand. She earns herself another game point.
Excellent serve right into the body. Sabalenka did a great job being able to get out of the way of that serve, but I mean, what do? You just have to watch the ball go by you. It was right into the corner.
Rybakina with game point serves. Sabalenka with a backhand into the net. And Rybakina hangs on and leads by 3 games to 2 now in the final sets as we look to decide the women's singles for 2023 at the Australian Open.
So good. I mean, the quality of the ball striking is just amazing to watch from both of these. Just the way they're just going after everything at this stage in the third set. Neither one of them backing down. It's been exceptional.
Kate?
Steve, Elspeth Hindmarsh wants to know, is it just her that's hearing the bells? Are you hearing bells there?
Elspeth, I don't know that I'm hearing bells.
I haven't heard bells either.
I've got voices in my head, but I'm not hearing bells.
I can't hear bells, ding dong. No, I haven't heard any bells.
Not sure what's going on with Elspeth. I hope she's okay. She might want to let us know.
It could be just
after
some
this match.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they will be coming over the broadcast as bells.
And good news from Lizzie in Utah, who's been writing to us over the past fortnight. Her daughter's finally made it back home today. I think she's been in hospital. And thanks for all the well wishes that have come in.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's barracking for Sabalenka tonight.
Absolutely, yeah.
Glad everything's okay.
Yeah, thanks for all your messages, and thank you for your message as well. Yeah, it's that's a tough moment. And I just heard from Darren that it may be something to do with the action audio that might be coming over with the bells, but I'll have to maybe have further conversations with Darren about that.
Well, if you're still hearing bells tomorrow, Elspeth, get it checked.
Yes. Or just let us know later. We're on air for a couple of hours, or more, with the men's doubles to come up. Anyway, here we go. 2-3, Sabalenka down the far end. Serving onto the backhand, straight down the middle of the court. Rybakina with her own forehand. She's not going to get close to that, though, but she doesn't have to. Just pushing long was Sabalenka. And the first point goes to Rybakina again on a Sabalenka service game. Love 15.
That's so important for Sabalenka to be able to focus here with those break point opportunities that she had. It's always tough if you aren't able to convert to come out the next game.
Serving here heavily down the middle with Sabalenka, and she gets the easy put away, gets the short ball at the net, rolls her forehand over and puts it away with comfort for 15 all.
It's been a good match to watch as far as both of their demeanors. Both of them throughout this entire match have great body language, good positive energy.
15 all. Serve. Big serve from Sabalenka. Right down the middle. Rybakina, no chance of covering that one off. 188 kilometres per hour. There's nothing between these two right now. 30-15, Sabalenka serves out wide. A really terrific ace deep in the box, right in the corner.
I'm just watching the coaching teams, even after those two serves, Rybakina's coach clapping for the Sabalenka serve. And those last couple shots, nothing you can do about that.
15 aces for Sabalenka, up to, against 9 for Rybakina to this point. Rybakina won't be happy with that ace return in this final. She'd served 45 to this point in the tournament. She needs some more tonight. Sabalenka is delivering, though, on serve. Apart from those double faults, slice from Rybakina to keep herself in this. On the run, she puts a forehand into the net. Rybakina from right in front of us. Trying to go cross court. Sabalenka holds 3 games all in the final set.
Well, Sabalenka did a good job of getting her legs nice and low throughout those last few points just to be able to handle the pace from Rybakina. Sometimes feel like neither player has time to set up for these balls, but they're so quick to get balanced and get behind the ball. It's been really impressive.
Did you have a favoured player before you came in tonight, Jill?
A favourite what?
A favoured player.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I was edging Rybakina, but then I read an article of Sabalenka, an interview. Yep. And she said one thing that changed my mind. And so I went to Sabalenka. Then I thought that Sabalenka was going to win. I know it was after she won her semifinal, and she was like, I can't wait to play tomorrow. And they're like, you're not playing tomorrow. You're playing Saturday. And that just shows you that she wants to, she's ready to go.
She's ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was it. That tipped you.
That tipped me.
Good serving here from Rybakina. That's 3 games all. She gets away to the perfect start with a big serve down the middle, just floating along from Sabalenka. That's all she had to say to take the favouritism away from Rybakina.
It's not an easy one.
It's just such a 50-50 call. Yeah. Really very little to pick between them. I was just leaning on the side the other way to Rybakina, but not by much. Sabalenka does well to get a backhand racket onto this and has run into the opposite corner by Rybakina. Great change of direction, 1-2 punch. Sabalenka just spraying the ball on the running forehand. Can't control it. 2 hours on Rod Laver Arena exactly, and we still can't split these two. 3 games all.
What did you say? You were
edging to Rybakina. 51-49.
Yeah. Mine's a 50.5.
Rybakina serving out wide. Sabalenka gets a good forehand racket onto this, and Rybakina unable to control that pace that it came back at. Just pushes the ball long, a looping forehand long. 30-15. I didn't meet any one person who said with any confidence who was going to win this match.
You can't choose one, I don't think.
You know, it's
too tough.
Yeah. 30-15. Serving here, Rybakina. I mean, you know, and tomorrow might be close as well, but a lot of people will just say, nah, Djokovic, definitely. You know? Some people will say Tsitsipas, definitely, but probably not many. Serving here, Rybakina just with the second serve, kick that up, big looping forehand. Sabalenka can absolutely unload on that. Well covered off by Rybakina, but she can't handle that power from Aryna Sabalenka, and she was well inside the baseline as well as she put away that forehand inside in for 30 all.
God, there's a huge inside-out forehand from Sabalenka. She is so confident on that particular shot, and then did a good job, took her time on the short ball.
Yep. When she injects that level of power onto the ground strokes, it's on her racket. When she does.
Yeah.
Second serve here from Rybakina. The forehand, which has clipped the tape on the way over, but Sabalenka was absolutely in position to pummel the forehand cross court, and it's another break point. And the Rybakina serve is right under pressure at the moment.
She did a good job of adjusting her feet on that let court. It can sometimes change your rhythm quite a bit, but Sabalenka handled it well.
Well, she had to save a break point in her last service game. Can she do it again here? Helpful fan. Serving, Rybakina just clipping the tape on the way through. Craig Tiley glancing over at where that voice came from. Tournament director serving here, Rybakina. Good serving out wide, deep in the box. 181 as well. She wasn't backing off facing break point. She's the Wimbledon champion. No reason to back off.
No. Sabalenka had a look at that return too. So flustered because she was there. She had to play on the ball. But like you said, too much pace.
That juice goes down the middle this time. Sabalenka does well on the backhand. Changes to the forehand. Puts a bit more on that. Rybakina goes up the line with the forehand. Cross court from Sabalenka. And that's long from Rybakina. Unforced error on the backhand. Gives up another break point. The second in this game.
Great pressure from Sabalenka. Nice short backswing on that return just to handle the pace of the serve.
It's the 7th game of the final set in the women's final. What happens here? Break point. Rybakina serves. Forehand from Sabalenka is long.
Well, she's guessing right on that ad serve. I mean, she's guessed right both times. It's just...
She has to get that in the court.
What? It's hard to do because of the pace of the serve.
Oh, but you know...
Of course she has to get it in the court.
She has to get it in the court.
I think that's her goal.
Well, you'd hope so. If it's not, they really need to reset in the coach's box. Juice here, 3-all. Rybakina serving. No. That's long from Sabalenka on the forehand. Trying to get this so deep near the baseline on every occasion. And she's just not being 100% accurate. She's hit some wonderful ground strokes, but she's released the pressure valve here and she knows it. Rybakina with a game point for a 4-3 lead. Serves here down the middle. Forehand from Sabalenka. Here's another one with some power. Rybakina covering that off with a backhand. Goes with her own forehand deep. Oh, hits the tape on the way over from Sabalenka. Low over the net forehand. There's a slice from Rybakina on the forehand, but she's stranded. Rybakina. As Sabalenka pummels the backhand past her. Back to juice we go.
I mean, it's just, that was an incredible point. Great job from Sabalenka. There was a moment I think she thought she missed the ball, but just hit the let court, stayed in that well.
Oh, they want to talk about the 7th game, right? This is absolutely pivotal here. At juice. Rybakina ready and serves. That's too long. Second serve. Couple of ball bounces. She rocks back and is ready to serve. Kicks it up onto the backhand. That's too low from Rybakina. She was in position to play that backhand cross court, but straight into the net. Break point number 3 for Aryna Sabalenka.
Again, just a little on her back foot, expecting something a lot deeper from Sabalenka. Can she do it now? Break point 3, number 3.
Played nearly 6.5 minutes in this game. It's break point again for Aryna. Serve into the net from Elena. Couple of ball bounces. Rybakina's ready. Serves onto the backhand of Sabalenka. It was on the half volley. Rybakina did really well, but she's stranded. Puts up a defensive ball. She's still in this. What's the smash like? Yes! She breaks serve. Aryna Sabalenka slams it away. And is that the critical moment of this women's final? She edges ahead and will serve next at 4-3.
There was a moment that, I mean, as good as her serve is, as good as her overhead is on that bouncing overhead, I was like, oh, you kind of hold your breath a little bit.
But she's been all right, hasn't she?
Yeah, she was smart. She didn't try and overpower that one. That was good.
She's put a few of those away tonight, and she is, well, it's certainly by no means over. There's a long way to go at 4-3. She's just got to hold serve now.
Easy.
Just easy. Okay.
Pamela Brooks says, thanks for the lively coverage. I'm pulling for Sabalenka from Charleston.
Okay.
6 a.m. Big yawn. Stay with us, Pamela.
Stay with us, Pamela.
And Chris is listening inside the stadium. He says, I think Sabalenka is firing up. I reckon you've got that right, Chris.
Yeah.
He said, although a tie-break is a coin toss, which I think it probably would be at this stage. And Elizabeth is listening from Scotland and believes that 5 sets would be in order tonight deserves a 5 set, she thinks.
Well, that's a whole nother debate, and I don't think we can bring 5 sets into the equation tonight.
That would be pretty awesome, though.
It would, though, wouldn't it? Yeah, absolutely. A 5-set women's final. Well, it's not with us yet. It's still best of 3, and it's Sabalenka serving with a break of serve here at 4-3 in the final set. And Rybakina slams a forehand winner past her.
Jeez. Wow, I didn't even see that one. Went in, right?
She got onto that. It certainly went in. It certainly went in from just outside the tram line's high part of the net. Beautifully done. Love 15. Sabalenka serves again. That was good. And leaning into that forehand. She was on the move as she played it, Elena Rybakina, but she just pushed it wide into the tram lines cross court.
Gutsy going to the forehand again after that first return.
Sure, absolutely. Will she go at it again? 15 all. Sabalenka serves. No, this time she went for the backhand but missed it. With the break of serve, trying to consolidate the break. Sabalenka, second serve. That's way too long from Rybakina. She got there with the forehand and just unleashed. But that was 5-6 feet beyond the baseline. 4-3, 30-15.
She hits that one well. That second serve out wide just gets good depth on it consistently.
Sabalenka, 30-15 here, serving. Looking for the ace down the middle, but it was just too long. Direction-wise, it was good, but length, no good. 30-15 and on to the second serve. Backhand here from Rybakina comes right back at Sabalenka, and she's just pulled that. Has Rybakina on the forehand, tried the change of direction, pulled it into the tram lines, and from love 15 to 40-15 for Aryna Sabalenka, and she has a point here to move within a game of the title.
She's doing well. I mean, to handle this moment after having that break, it's you feel like she's in good position, but it's still so much tension.
40-15, Sabalenka serves. Forehand comes right back at her. She goes right back in the same direction, but pushed again too long beyond the baseline. Sabalenka that time. 40-30.
She's good at letting these go. Some of the mistakes that she's making. Usually rebounds well.
40-30 still game point here for Sabalenka. Serves wide, but it was just too long, and it was a little bit wide. So a second serve for Rybakina to have a look at here to try and get us back to deuce. Sabalenka serves. Rybakina unloads on a forehand up the line, and it is deuce.
That one was right in the strike zone of Rybakina. I felt like Sabalenka may have played that second serve a little safe.
If she knows it, she gave a wry smile afterwards. She doesn't want the double, but then again, is it worth landing the second serve like that? Well, we're at deuce. Sabalenka goes with the big serve out wide, and it skids off Rybakina's racket. No control. That was a great serve from Aryna. She earns herself another game point for 5-3.
Yeah, that's the serve that she needs to go to in a tight moment. She hits that so well, that out wide one on the deuce side.
Sabalenka then on game point. What can she do? Into the net. Going for the ace down the middle. Just goes through a normal service routine. Couple of ball bounces, brush of the hair, sets herself. Second serve here. Sabalenka lands it. Forehand's heavy from Rybakina, and again Sabalenka this time can't control the pace coming back from Elena Rybakina. That forehand is getting herself out of some awkward situations. Back to deuce we go.
That was a good second serve too. She put more on that serve, but I almost feel like it helped Rybakina just be able to block that back with extra pace.
So deuce again with Sabalenka. Serves this time down the middle. That's good enough for the point as the floating backhand just lands out from Rybakina. It would have been put away. It was very near the net. Sabalenka would surely have put that away anyway. Game point again for Aryna Sabalenka. This ad court is proving difficult for her to close the game out, though. Can she do it this time? Sabalenka serves. Yes, she can. Yes, she can. An ace out wide. And Aryna Sabalenka is just a game away from her first major title.
Just watching her team on the side in the box, all of them up on their feet, clapping and huge fist pumps, but Sabalenka not even looking over, just really staying focused, looking down at the court. So you're just chattering away to herself quietly, just words of encouragement.
All righty. Well, we're at the pointy end here because Elena Rybakina has to serve to stay in the championship. She's down the far end and she serves to the forehand of Sabalenka. That comes right back at her and going back behind Sabalenka with a really good forehand. Rybakina earns herself the opening point.
Yeah, she really picks that up off the baseline. Well, Rybakina, she's good with that wrist to be able to get it behind Sabalenka.
Elena Rybakina at 15 love serves into the net. It's right on 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. Where would you rather be? Serving here, lands this onto the backhand of Sabalenka, doesn't put too much on it, forehand into the opposite corner, well covered off by Sabalenka, blow over the net, both ground strokes here from both women. Cross court goes Sabalenka up the line with precision. Rybakina then sliced by Rybakina, running Sabalenka makes this cross court, pulled wide by Rybakina, and she goes down, both hands on her knees. She knows that was a huge point to win and it didn't go her way. 15 all.
That was a great point. A good rallying in Sabalenka, just watching her face. You can just hear it, reading her lips saying, fight, fight, just keep fighting.
Fight, fight, fight. That's what she's got to do. She's got to make Sabalenka try and serve this out. Easier said than done, though. 3-5, 15 all. Serves, goes for the ace down the middle, just missing. Jill Cravers, Kate Kearns and Steve Pearce with you on AO Radio. Are we close to deciding this one? Rybakina serves onto the backhand of Sabalenka, having to go down really low. Rybakina then unloads on a forehand cross court. Sabalenka is there, opposite corner on the run. Sabalenka's there, lands very near the baseline, but it was out from Sabalenka.
Now she tried to change it up. She was getting behind in the point, lofted that forehand, tried to just give herself a little extra time, but just not enough spin on that forehand.
A few cries of encouragement for both players. Rybakina then is ready and serves. Sabalenka just gets the forehand racket on this, but it's out, it's long. And Elena Rybakina is standing firm here. She's got points to get this to 4-5 and put the pressure right back on her opponent. So Rybakina serving finds the net with the first serve. Second serve now for Rybakina. Goes to the backhand of Sabalenka, who lands this in. Cross court goes Rybakina, covered off by Sabalenka, who runs around onto her forehand. Low over the net, too low for Rybakina, who can only slice low with the forehand into the net. 40-30.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that forehand floating to push Sabalenka out wide, she loves being on the run on that forehand down the line, and that's the point where she took control of that point. Taking a lot more time in between serves, huh?
Yeah. Why not take all the time you need at 40-30? She a must-have point for her serving. Sabalenka doing pretty well with the first forehand, but the second one skids off the side of her racket as she lurches wide. And Elena Rybakina has showed a fair bit of mettle herself there, facing the loss of the match at 3-5. She has held firm and held serve and heaped the pressure on Aryna Sabalenka, who now must serve for the match. And for someone who's struggled with her serve over the years, it's going to be interesting to watch.
She doesn't want to hear you say that.
She can't hear.
This is going to be the moment. Yeah, this is her moment right here. It's on her racket. So let's see if she can come through. I'm thinking she's going to.
Right, you're just landing there.
I'm feeling it.
Wow, okay. Kate, is she going to land it?
I think she is.
Yes, okay. All right, well, I'll stick my neck out and say break a serve. Why not?
Just to be competitive in the booth.
Yeah, we can't all think the same thing, can we? No, I don't know. It's been one of those matches. It's been 50-50 since the start. It's been very hard to split these two. And, well, we're much closer to splitting them because the equation is Aryna Sabalenka is serving for the championship. She has strode to the far end. She's bouncing ball. She's ready to go on the baseline. Elena Rybakina is going to turn around now to receive. Here's the moment. Can Sabalenka get over the line? Crowd show their appreciation for this contest. Sabalenka then serving for the championship. She serves out wide. Rybakina does really well with the first forehand return. She's going to get an opportunity on the backhand, but she really fluffs it. It was wide. It was long.
That
15
was
love.
An incredible get on return from Rybakina. I'm surprised she missed that backhand. Just full swing at that. Missed by quite a bit.
15 love, then Sabalenka serves, finds the net. Second serve. 5 ball bounces or thereabouts for Sabalenka, and lands the second serve. Backhand is good from Rybakina on the run. She makes the forehand back cross court, and a really tight forehand from Sabalenka halfway up the net. 15 all.
Yeah, I was paying attention to the first forehand. It was actually a really great forehand from Sabalenka, but that last one completely falling backwards. Needs to stay up on that baseline.
Yep. Plenty to go here. All right, 15 all. Sabalenka. Oh, the ball toss has gone wrong. Okay. Has to reset, go through the motion again. First serve here. Sabalenka goes heavily. That was a long way out. Closer to the baseline, in fairness. So Rybakina, 1 foot, her right foot just on the baseline to receive this. She's ready, gets onto the forehand, goes right back at Sabalenka on the half volley. Sabalenka pushes it wide into the tram lines. 15-30, and we might not be done yet.
And now Rybakina is covering that out wide serve, knows that Sabalenka loves that serve, and she's taking it away from her.
Aryna Sabalenka moving along at a fair pace here. 15-30. Serves down the middle. Rybakina with 2 fairly big forehands. Sabalenka also returning the favour with her own forehands, and that's long that time from Rybakina. Surprisingly, pushing that a long way beyond the baseline. 30 all.
These are those moments where Sabalenka, if she wants to close this out, just stay cross court to that Sabalenka forehand, but still be able to accelerate through.
30 all, 5-4. Sabalenka serves down the middle. She's found the ace she needed to set up a championship point.
Smart going down the tee. Great job from Sabalenka.
Championship point for Aryna Sabalenka. Is this the moment? Sabalenka serves. Oh, it's just long. Wasn't a long way out, but it was out. After 2 hours, 22 minutes on Rod Laver Arena. A second serve. Sabalenka serves a fault. It's a double fault on championship point. And she flexes out her shoulders. You couldn't write the drama. Well, you could actually, because we've seen a few double faults from Aryna Sabalenka, and under the most intense of pressure on championship point, it's a double. Okay, at deuce. Sabalenka serves. This time she finds the box. And then a big forehand right on the line from Sabalenka.
Wow.
That shows some confidence and belief in the ground strokes. That was in right on the line. And it's another championship point. And she's back at the baseline looking for the ace. Sabalenka, championship point. Serves down the middle. It's just a fault again, just long. Okay, it'll be a second serve here for Aryna Sabalenka. Serves, lands this in the box. Backhand from Rybakina. Backhand also from Sabalenka. She stayed on there with the forehand cross court and then pulls it wide into the tram line. Sabalenka with the change of direction forehand. And Elena Rybakina is still alive in this Australian Open. In the most intense of drama to bring you on a Saturday night.
It's great fighting from Rybakina. Unbelievable to change that up down the line.
There's huge crowd support. I think it's for both players. There'll be some who are just encouraging, knowing this is a tough moment for Sabalenka, but then there are others who want more tennis. 5-4, deuce. Sabalenka serves down the middle. It's wide of its mark. Second serve at deuce. Sabalenka serves right at the forehand of Rybakina. Rybakina then changing to a backhand near the sideline. Well picked up by Sabalenka. Staying on the backhand is Rybakina. Here's another one. Sabalenka covering that off with her own backhand. Change of direction from Rybakina. She made it! And she's got a break point for 5-all in the final set.
Oh, she looks so calm on that forehand.
I bet you she's not calm.
I'm not calm. No one's calm. Oh, goodness.
She can't be calm. But she did deliver. Sabalenka facing break point now. Serves. Rybakina does really well to get a racket on this, but she can't get it back over the net. That's great serving from Aryna Sabalenka.
That is fantastic.
Back to deuce.
What's showing such good composure, Sabalenka on that break point.
It's a 6-minute game plus. As Aryna Sabalenka tries to serve this out at 5-4 at deuce. Serves long. Going down the middle to the backhand of Rybakina. Will she stay at that same angle of attack? She goes to the forehand. Rybakina lands this forehand in. So does Sabalenka cross court. Rybakina the same from Sabalenka. That was too low from Rybakina. She caught the tape and landed back on her side. And she's given up a third championship point to Aryna Sabalenka. Oh, there's a lot of nail biting going on inside Rod Laver Arena. Some people are down well into their fingers. Sabalenka may be one of them herself. For the third time, it's championship point. Aryna Sabalenka. She serves into the net. Of course she does. Second serve. Sabalenka serves. The forehand's okay from Rybakina. That was too deep from Sabalenka. Just out. It wasn't a long way out, but it was out. For the fourth time, it's deuce.
Oh, wow.
Holy moly.
Just out, only by an inch. What a great return from Rybakina.
You knew that was not going to be simple.
Oh, no. It never is. I feel like it never is.
Sabalenka at deuce, serving down the far end. First ball's really good. Rybakina did really well to get it back, but the easy put away up the line for Sabalenka on the forehand to earn herself a 4th championship point, and how she would love
a first serve.
An easy put away after a first serve on championship point. Is this the time?
Well, she hasn't made a first serve yet on these championship points, so it'd be huge if she could get that first serve in.
Aryna Sabalenka, championship point again for the 4th time. She serves down the middle. The forehand is really good again from Rybakina. She goes cross-court, Rybakina. It's met by Sabalenka. Oh, that's too deep. That's too deep from Rybakina. And Aryna Sabalenka collapses on Rod Laver Arena, shaking with the emotion of having broken through all the serving woes. The anxiety is coming out of her right now. She is the Australian Open champion. She's beaten Elena Rybakina 4-6, 6-3, 6-4 in just under 2.5 hours of high drama on centre court, and now the players embrace. It's her first major title, and what a way to win. She's walking across the court. She's heading right to her player box. No surprise there. She's put them through a whole load of emotions, not just in this tournament, but over the years. And finally, she breaks through and is the Australian Open champion. And there's warm hugs and embraces there, as you would imagine. Such emotion now coming out of her family and friends. Coach Anton Dubrov, it's just been such a journey for Aryna Sabalenka, but she is the Australian Open champion for 2023, and her wait for a major title in the singles is over. You're hearing the applause now for Elena Rybakina as well. The Wimbledon champion, her fight wasn't quite good enough tonight, but she wasn't a mile off all the way through to the final. And a lot of people who didn't know much about her necessarily in this part of the world and in this time zone now know a lot more about what she can deliver on the tennis court. Aryna Sabalenka fighting back the tears here as she sits down to ponder what she has finally achieved. I say finally achieved, I mean she's 23. It's not really that old, but it feels like it's been a long time coming, this title. Everyone's in tears, coach and player. Great stuff.
Oh, it was just unbelievable. Awesome. I mean, they're still getting all choked up. Just what a great performance. I mean, both of them. I think the crowd really appreciated it. They were just getting so into the match. I think in awe of the power and the pace and the quality of both of these women. It was an exceptional final to watch, and I think we're feeling those emotions with Sabalenka because we've seen her get so close a few times, and to be able to finally get through that and win that championship point, I mean, it's such an amazing feeling. I just overcome with emotion, and she deserved it. I mean, she played so well.
Yeah.
And we saw her sometimes have struggles with, when she's had that pressure on her shoulders, that expectation on her shoulders where she wasn't able to get through. So that's all the emotions that you're seeing now, is be able to overcome that particular moment. It's just incredible.
Yeah, it's quite a moment. Elena Rybakina, who seems to, I suppose, in many ways, not surprisingly, just have it all together and taking her defeat. She, just having a chat with Craig Tiley there, she knows, I think, that she left nothing out there on the court. I think when she reflects, she'll know that she didn't serve well enough tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think, she might look at the numbers and think that, but it's about that 100% effort that you gave, and she gave it her all today. I thought she really pushed her at the end, especially made Sabalenka come up with the goods. I think she fought so hard, and it was great to see her just continue to go after it. which is what you want to see.
Yeah, it is, and the hustle and bustle that you can hear over the radio is the well-rehearsed erecting of the stage and everything that goes with it for these presentations on court, which happen incredibly quickly. There's a whole team of Australian Open staff that just rush out, and they all know exactly what to do and which bit of stage and which bit of curtain to put where and which bit to put for the camera crews, and guided by Prue Ryan, who's been doing this for a long time. She certainly knows what to do, and in just a couple of moments we will have the presentation of the Daphne Akhurst Memorial Cup, and it'll be going to Aryna Sabalenka from Belarus, who's won here tonight in a terrific contest, closely fought with Elena Rybakina, the 5th seed, winning her first Australian Open, her first major singles title, and it was an edgy last service game, and in a way it was fitting probably that Aryna struggled, because that's been the narrative over the last couple of years, and it took it sounds awful, but it took a miss probably from Rybakina to break that cycle. It's
never easy to
serve it out.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're more comfortable returning to win the match than serving.
Absolutely, and that might have happened next, but we'll never know, because Sabalenka did, after a battle, and my word, she found some aces. She just couldn't really find the big serves and the right placement on championship point, but eventually Rybakina made the mistake that she needed, and she could collapse to the court, and the congratulations come straight up on the sign right behind Aryna Sabalenka in multiple languages, maybe. And it was a warm embrace from both players as well. Yeah. They knew that this was a really tight contest, and it's a cliche, you can never have a draw, there's got to be a winner, and tonight it was Aryna Sabalenka's night to take the title. Yeah, great stuff. Now, don't be thinking that's the end of our coverage for tonight, because it's not. We'll have the presentation here on AO Radio, and we'll hear from the champion, Aryna Sabalenka, and a couple of other officials. Todd Woodbridge is up there, the Master of Ceremonies, as is normal for these ceremonies. Billie Jean King is on the stage speaking with the chair of Tennis Australia, Jane Hrdecka. And
can't see anything now. There's so many.
Oh no, you can't. I can still see it. I can still see around the corner.
Photographers in front of us.
I can still see. But we will have the men's doubles final coming up for you at the conclusion of this ceremony, when Aryna has taken the trophy to all corners and signed everything she's going to sign and exited. Shortly after that, Hijikata and Kubler, the Australian wildcard pairing, have done so well to get through to this men's doubles final. They are, aren't they? And they'll come up against Nice and Zelensky. But let's hear from Todd Woodbridge now as we start off this.
I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the land on which we gather tonight, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people here this evening. Well, tonight we've seen two of the powerhouses of the women's game put on an incredible final. I'm sure you'll all agree. And for those lucky enough to be here in Rod Laver Arena this evening, or perhaps those watching around the world on television, I'm sure that you'll agree also that this Australian Open has produced some amazing tennis and incredible storylines every single day of the championships. But before we present the trophies, I would like to acknowledge His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, the Governor-General of Australia, the Honourable Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister, and Her Excellency, the Honourable Linda Dessau, the Governor of Victoria, all here with us this evening. Also joining us for the presentation are the Chair of Tennis Australia, Jane Herdlicker, the Tournament Director, Craig Tiley, Tournament Referee, Wayne McEwen. And it's my great pleasure, yes, round of applause, thank you. Well done, team. And it also gives me great pleasure to introduce a champion of our sport. She is a 12-time Grand Slam singles champion. She won the singles here in 1968. Would you please put your hands together for Billie Jean King? Well, a very famous trophy, the Daphne Akhurst Memorial Cup, which goes to our winner tonight, has been travelling around Victoria over several weeks with our AO on the road team and is now, I'm pleased to say, safely back here on Rod Laver Arena. Here comes Daphne. It's a magnificent piece of silverware. I'm sure that you all are going to agree with that. But it's now time for me to introduce and invite the Chair of Tennis Australia, Jane Herdlicker, up to say a few words. Jane.
What a fitting finish to an absolutely spectacular 3 weeks of women's tennis at the Australian Open in 2023. What a great finish, fighting finish. It was a match that highlights how exciting women's tennis really is. Elena and Aryna, truly remarkable tennis tonight. We're so proud of you. We know how hard you've worked to get to here tonight. Your level of achievement is just absolutely impressive, and we're all inspired by what sits behind you and how you performed tonight under extreme circumstances. Thank you very much. And it's a very memorable night for both of you because you played tonight in front of 7 of the original 9 brave women who decided that it just wasn't good enough 53 years ago and set out to start what ultimately became the Women's Tennis Association. And you truly stand on the shoulders of giants who laid the foundation that makes it possible today for all women to be given a fair shot in most sports, and for our sport to treat women with great respect and to be able to play in the very biggest events in our sport with equal prize money. So thank you to the original 9. Again, just a spectacular night tonight. You were both great competitors. There could only be one winner, but it was a fight to the finish. So thank you for a great match tonight.
Thank you, Jane. If I could now invite the tournament referee, Wayne McEwen, to come up and present a gift to our chair umpire for this evening's final. That is Tom Sweeney. Well done, Tom. Tom is an Australian. We're very proud of the work that he does officiating around the world. Well, unfortunately, though, there can only be one champion. And although falling just one match short, it has still been a magnificent tournament for this young woman. Along the way to the finals, she defeated 5 seeds, including the world #1. Please put your hands together for our finalist, Elena Rybakina.
like to congratulate Aryna, of course, with the title and with a great start of the season. Adelaide and here, I know how hard you've worked for that, and also your team, so congratulate, and yeah, just good luck in the rest of the season. Hopefully we're going to have many more battles. And of course, I want to say a big thank you to my team for the great job we done during preseason and just over the past 3-4 years. To my coach, big thanks, of course, to my family, sponsors, president of our Kazakhstan Federation is here, so thank you so much for the support. And one more person I need to thank, of course, for the great preseason. He's not here, but I'm sure he's watching, so thank you so much. And yeah, family, and just wanted to say a big thank you for this atmosphere. It was amazing, and I felt really good playing here, and I had just goosebumps, yeah, how to say it correct, when everybody were cheering for us and supporting. It was unbelievable, and yeah, I'm looking forward to come back next year. And the last thank you, of course, to organizers, everybody who made this tournament possible. Of course, Ball Kids, I know you are in a bigger team now, and it's much more of you, so thank you so much. Empires, of course, and all the volunteers. It was amazing 2 weeks for me, and yeah, hopefully next year I'm going to have same result and even better. Thank you.
Well, it took 4 attempts to make a major final, but there was no stopping her tonight, was there? In what has been a flawless summer down under, with a title in Adelaide, she can now proudly hold aloft the Daphne Atkins Memorial Trophy, her first major title. The Australian Open Women's Singles Champion for 2023, Aryna Sabalenka.
First of all, I want to say sorry for my English because I'm still shaking and super nervous. Secondly, it's such an inspiration to receive a trophy from you. Thank you so much for everything you've done for our sport. But I couldn't be more thankful. Thank you so much. I want to congratulate Elena for an incredible 2 weeks. You're such a great player, and of course we're going to have many more battles, hopefully in the finals of the Grand Slams. And I want to congratulate your team. You guys are amazing. You've done such. Oh my God, sorry. You've done such a good job. Congrats, guys. Thank you so much for everyone who made this tournament happen. Thank you so much, tournament director, referees, line umpires, ball kids, stringers, physios. I mean, thank you everyone who helped me during this week. And thank you so much, guys, for an amazing atmosphere. It was enjoyable to play in front of you. Thank you so much. Of course, my team, the craziest team on tour, I would say. You see? We've been through a lot of, I would say, downs last year. We worked so hard, and you guys deserve this trophy. It's more about you than about me. Thank you so much for everything you're doing for me. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys. for an amazing atmosphere. I hope next year I come back stronger, and I'll show you even better tennis, and you guys support me even more.
Well, congratulations again, Aryna. Well, that concludes our presentation. There'll be some photos taken. Aryna's going to do a lap of honour with Daphne, the trophy. But would you please give one more loud round of applause for what was been a magnificent singles final here tonight on Rod Laver Arena.
A lovely moment for Aryna Sabalenka, and well handled by Elena Rybakina as well. In many ways you wouldn't think she'd lost. She seems quite comfortable with herself and what she delivered out there on the court. It's not the tears that we've seen so often from the runner-up, but someone who is just proud of their efforts, I think, and beaten by a slightly better opponent on the day. That's kind of how it plays out. So the two are holding their plate and trophy aloft. Aryna Sabalenka, the 2023 Australian Open champion. Elena Rybakina has that plate to put next to her Wimbledon trophy replica that she'll have back at home as well. So it's a pretty successful 6 months for her, and for Sabalenka, a great moment for her. She came in as many people's tip for the title, and she's delivered, Jill. You know, she hasn't lost a match. She did lose a set, but she hasn't lost a match all the way through Adelaide and here, and you can't take it away from her, can you? She's the most consistent, and she fully deserves it.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I think that what you said, that lead-up tournament that she won in Adelaide, to be able to come in this event with such confidence and played so exceptionally well. And we mentioned a few times how she was able to handle those big moments. We've seen it consistently throughout her career. She got stuck a few times at the semifinals, at the slams, and had really tough moments. And was maybe feeling a little overwhelmed in the past, but the way she handled herself today, but in the semifinals as well, to get to her first final and then come through, I thought was really well done. So mentally tough.
Yeah, she absolutely deserved it. It was a battle to serve it out, but she got there in the end. And they're taking a lovely photo with Billie Jean King, of course, who was out there, as you heard in the ceremony there, the whole original nine who formed the WTA Tour, or helped form the WTA Tour, being honoured this fortnight. And now Billie Jean moves away, and there's a photo of both the winner and the runner-up as they hold their trophy and plate aloft. All right, there's a bit to play out on centre court as Aryna Sabalenka, as Elena Rybakina will start to move away, and then it'll all be about the winner, and she'll stand there for a few more moments, having a few more photographs, and then she'll take her trophy, the Daphne Akhurst Memorial Cup, right around Rod Laver Arena and celebrate this moment, sign some autographs. So, Jill, as we are about to make way for Peter Mercado and Chris Bowers, I was just looking into the darkness of the corridor there just to see who that was. They were just outside the commentary box now. Just your final thoughts there on not just the match but also the tournament from the women's side.
I think it's been fantastic. We talk so much about the depth of the women's game, and I think the physicality of both the men and the women, actually, but the way the ball striking has just been phenomenal throughout these 2 weeks, and seeing the fight of everyone. I think we were all unsure of who was going to come through. We all had different picks, and I think that just proves how well all these women have been playing throughout the couple weeks. Some good storylines, as Todd Woodbridge mentioned, but I think the quality has just been outstanding, and I just think the tennis gets better and better.
Kate, final one or two messages and your thoughts?
Yes, Steve, Chris wants to know whether or not we think this has been one of the best women's finals that we've seen in recent years.
I think it was a really tightly contested contest, and there was some good tennis.
I would say it's one of the best.
I think it was a really good match. I don't know if I would call it one of the best. But it's a personal, subjective view.
Because watching, I felt very tense throughout the whole thing. So I think I was on the edge of my seat at the end. So that makes me feel like it was one of the best.
Yeah, it was. Look, it was a really good match, and if it's tightly contested, goes down deep in the third set, I don't think that you can say that you're guessing who's going to win right the way to the end. But it's always a subjective view whether something's an epic, a classic, or one of the best. So, but it was certainly very enjoyable to watch, and hopefully it was very enjoyable to listen to right around the world on AO Radio. Are we clear, Kate?
I think so. And
good.
Just from Pete, I think we should finish on
From
this
Pete?
one.
Yeah.
From Pete from Traverse City, he said, "Simply wow." And I
Simply
think
wow.
Simply wow. And I think in terms of that the last game, 4 match points, absolutely wow.
Yes, it was certainly a battle, that last game for Aryna Sabalenka. It took 4 championship points, but she got there, and she now holds the Daphne Akers Memorial Cup. Up to the crowd, so we'll let Aryna carry on with her celebrations. Kate, splendid work tonight. Thank you very much, and thanks to everyone for all your messages right around the world and right through the evening. Do keep those coming through, of course, because Peter Mercado and Chris Bowers are going to come into the commentary box here for the men's doubles final. Jill, as always, a great pleasure.
Thank you, Steve.
We're going to take literally a 2-minute break, so go nowhere, because all that's going to happen on court is Aryna's just going to get some photos and sign some things and blah blah blah, and then Chris and Pete will be in to bring you the men's doubles final, and it's a really intriguing contest between Hijikata and Kubla, the Australians, the wildcards, up against Nice from Monaco and Zalewski from Poland. Really good looking match, this one, and so Pete and Chris will be with you in just a couple of minutes here on AO Radio. Aryna Sabalenka is our champion for the women's singles for 2023.
The Community Broadcasting Foundation is an independent non-profit funding agency that seeks, secures, distributes and administers funding to support the development, creativity and sustainability of community broadcasting in Australia.
Through funding from the Department of Communications and the Arts, the Community Broadcasting Foundation provides resources for community-owned and operated media to connect